Trying not to get hit by News 12. Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. We're live outside Delaney Hall ICE prison in Newark, New Jersey, where at least 40 to 50 protesters are blocking an ICE from abducting one of the leaders of the hunger labor strike that launched 3 days ago, Martin Soto. Let me tell you what happened and what's going on now. Martin, who was abducted while getting diapers for his children months ago, has been in there, and he and others organized a massive hunger labor strike. Almost all prisoners have partaken. They started on Friday. This is almost 1,000 prisoners inside. Martin is one of the leaders of it. 2 days ago, ICE guards interrogated him, threatened him with solitary confinement as retaliation for organizing the hunger strike. His wife, Gabriella Soto, has been out here every day. I've interviewed her several times. She is pregnant with their soon-to-be third child. And she was also threatened directly by guards with having her visitation cut off because she has been out here speaking with media loudly condemning the torture going on in there, including being served worms in food, the prisoners, black mold rampant inside, basically no medical care, prisoners kept up all night, among other things, and her husband has lost 30 pounds in just 4 months inside. What they did earlier today, I'm told, they basically lied to him, telling him he was being released, basically to manipulate him, to get him to go into one of the white transport vans. And then I will find out, but I believe he or others in the prison were able to alert his wife to what was going on. So his wife organized and got people to come down here to block ICE from basically abducting him out of here, because they're not releasing him. They're trying to transfer him out as retaliation for organizing this hunger strike. To be clear, what's going on in there is worse than many prisons in America, and that's saying something, because prisons in America are horrific conditions. I spoke with Congresswoman Ana Lilia Mejia of New Jersey, newly elected a few days ago. She told me inside whatever's going on, mold, other basically fungi that's spreading, her throat started hurting and locking up. As soon as she came outside, it immediately went away. COVID has been spreading inside. Flu has been spreading inside. Pregnant women have miscarried inside. Other pregnant women have not been able to see OGBNYs. It's torture. That's what's going on. And now, as retaliation for prisoners having the audacity to stop eating the expired, rotting food, which includes a green sausage patty they were served earlier this week. In addition to worms in the food, they're basically trying to abduct the leader of the hunger strike. Let's go over there, show you what's going on. I'll be able to show you also where the van is, where we believe they still have Martin in. These protesters right here are blocking the exit, basically, so they cannot take one of the leaders of the hunger strike. Smash the like button. Smash the like button, share this live stream. We got to get this out to as many people as possible. I know it's Memorial Day weekend, but this is important. As far as I can tell, we're the only national media out here right now. So we'll try to talk to people and find out what's going on. Ooh.
Is our demand.
Not one more on stolen land.
Gabriella, can I talk to you?
No more waiting. No more lies.
So, if you could zoom in. I don't know if the audience can see through the fence, but there's a white transport van all the way down there with the door open. We believe that is a transport van that they have Martin Soto in. He is a father of 2, about to be 3. His wife's pregnant. Again, he has lost 30 pounds inside. He was one of the organizers of this strike. From what I'm told, they basically threw him into a dark cell the other day and threatened to toss him into solitary confinement for the crime, I guess, of fighting back and doing the only thing they could do, which is abstain from eating, abstain from giving their labor, which they're only being paid $1.50 a day. And by the way, from what I'm also told, they're not even getting their payments on time, if they're getting their payments at all. For those of you that don't know, this torture camp, that's what it is owned by Geo Group, which is one of the biggest for-profit prison operators in the United Corporations of America. That's right, the United Corporations of America. And Geo Group has made $254 million in profit last year through prisons like this. So essentially, this is a standoff right now. Martine is in that van, but they obviously cannot get out of here with, by my count, well over 50 protesters, might be more. And this has been brewing all weekend. Solidarity protesters have been outside. Can I speak with you, Gabriella? Can I speak with you? So tell me what happened, how you found out that they were trying to take your husband out of here.
I was on a phone call with him. He was just checking if I was going to go to a visiting time. I said yes. But then in the middle of it, they were yelling, release, release, release. So he said, oh, I'm getting released, I'm getting released. And he hung up the phone. A minute later, one of his inmates called me and said he's getting released. Something in me told me they're lying. I went into the visiting chapel, but I knew something was happening. So I stayed in the visiting chapel ramp. I saw him handcuffed, and I saw that he was resisting to get in that van. Two big-ass, grown-ass men pushed him and forced him in that van.
So they lied to him to get him into the...
They lied to him because of this protest. Because they knew that I was organizing it. Because the other day, on Saturday, they said, before we bring him down to his visitation, we wanted to talk to you. Why are you getting press here? Why are you spreading lies about Delaney Hall? I said, no, I'm not spreading lies. So they were retaliating because me speaking out, which is my right. I have freedom of speech. They lied to him. They retaliated with what we're doing to deport him. He has a TRO in place, and they forced him to, they didn't even force him. They just lied to him signing a release form to get released. So they are going to comply with that order of release, and they are going to release him.
So what specifically did they get him to sign? A release form?
A release form. A release form, not a voluntary leave, because 200 detainees witnessed him signing a release form. Because of this whole process, nobody was letting him be alone. They were taking turns sleeping and waking up so that he's never alone or taken in the middle of the night. They were with him even when he went to the bathroom.
And to be clear, they're retaliating against him because he's one of the lead organizers of this hunger strike, of this labor strike.
They're retaliating against me because I organized this protest outside to close Delaney Hall and to free every single detainee in there. Because every time a van came out, we would be here and stand ground. So they lied to him, and they're retaliating against that.
And the other day, you were approached by guards, and what did they say to you? Because they also were trying to cut off your visitation?
They told me, why am I spreading lies to the press? They told me, you can't continue spreading lies about this facility.
And the lies they're claiming are worms in the food, black mold, prisoners being kept up all night, women having miscarriages, which many prisoners are telling their loved ones about.
Yes, every single thing in there is true. Every detainee that cries for help is telling the truth.
And I want people to know, not to blow up your spot, you're pregnant, you're watching both of your children with a third on the way, you have to also pay the bills, you have a sick mother to take care of, so this has been hell for you with your husband abducted inside, and he's lost how much weight in just a few months?
30 pounds in 4 months. They kidnapped him. I saw him resisting to get in the van. They forced him into that van.
And he's in here in the first place. They took him while he was shopping for diapers. And they're keeping him in here. You're a U.S. citizen, but they're keeping him in here because he is not a citizen but was in the process.
Yes.
What's your message if this gets attention? MAGA, the Trump administration, what would you say to them?
Immigrants make up America. Immigrants is what makes America beautiful. We are all immigrants. You can't deport people. You can't. This is illegal. At least if you want to deport someone, do it face to face. Don't kidnap people. Because that's what they're doing. They're kidnapping them in the middle of the night. They're kidnapping them in broad daylight.
And I know the prisoners and protesters have been demanding that politicians get out here. Yes. Senator Andy Kim came yesterday. Congressman Menendez came yesterday. But they want Governor Mikey Sherrill to come out here, Senator Cory Booker. What's your message to New Jersey politicians and other politicians?
To please come down and do your job. Please come down and do what's wrong with the system. This system is wrong. This system is wrong. It's inhumane. Do your job, please, which is why we voted for you to be our voices. The people shouldn't be other people's voices. It should be you guys fighting for our rights.
And I'm sorry to get personal, but he might be in that van over there. What's going through your mind? Because you don't really know where they're trying to take him, what they're trying to do.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
How are you feeling emotionally right now?
Angry. I am willing to do anything for my husband. I am willing to do anything for my husband. You don't even know what I am capable of to protect my husband and my family. My family is everything to me, and I will do everything I have to do to protect my family.
And my last question, what does it say that recently the president is trying to get almost $2 billion, they're calling it a slush fund, to be given to people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, people who were convicted of trying to storm the Capitol, overthrow the government. After he pardoned them, he's trying to get them reparations, money, while your husband, who has no criminal record, and majority of people in here have no criminal record, are in here being fed worms.
They are locking the gate. They shouldn't even be in government. They are inhuman people with no hearts. They should not have the right to kidnap innocent people, to do things, these horrible conditions. The government is what is wrong with this country. The government is forcing people, is forcing to separate families, is forcing people to suffer. And they shouldn't be doing that.
I'll let you get back to it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Smash the like button, share this live stream. So right now it looks like they're locking the front gate. Just so you know, this is Delaney Hall ICE prison. It's in Newark, New Jersey. Geo Group, the for-profit prison operator, got a $1 billion with a B, $1 billion contract to operate this torture camp over the course of 15 years. It's also in, frankly, a really rotten part of Newark. It stinks out here because there's industrial plants, I believe waste and sewer plants around here, and I was told it stinks even worse inside. And by the way, just so you know, if you're watching from around the country, this is not just happening at Delaney Hall ICE prison. The conditions are horrific inside most ICE prisons around the country, and the Trump administration is trying to take that horror and make it tenfold. There have been reports in recent months that they want to purchase 800 more warehouses to turn into ICE prisons, because this is not about immigration. This is about money. This is about putting butts in beds and creating as much profit as possible for profit prison operators while throwing red meat to his rapidly shrinking base. So right now they're chanting, "Free them all." And so you know, you can't see it now, but over to the right, we've been here a few times. There's a solidarity tent that is up 24/7. There's been activists, protesters that have been here pretty much every day for the last year since this place has been open. Many of them don't know anyone inside and don't have loved ones inside, but they're just here to support the prisoners inside. Hold on.
Give credit to Gabby, who really advocating for her husband and trusting her instincts. And we are all here to support her. And please give her a big round of a hand. Let her know we're not letting our children anywhere. Gabby, we are here for you and for all of the men and women inside who are on strike. And as long as we are here, we are going to stand firm for you. That's right. Just like you are standing firm for Martine, all of the people inside.
And bottom line, folks, I know there's a lot going on right now, and I know times are tough, but there is no other national media out here right now. We are the only ones live, and that has been the case over and over and over and over again all across this country. For the last year, if you don't know, we have reported on the ground covering the ICE terrorism in Los Angeles, at Alligator Alcatraz in Florida, in D.C., in New York City, in New Jersey, in Chicago. For 2 months we were on the ground. In Charlotte and then Minneapolis, we were there before Renee Good was assassinated by ICE. We've spent, as an independent outlet with no corporate funding, we've spent nearly $100,000 between staff, travel, safety equipment over that year to cover this. And unfortunately, platforms like YouTube often hide us and bury us. So please, please, if you can, if you can't, it's totally fine. But if you can, please sign up tonight as a paying member to support this on-the-ground reporting. Statuscoup.com/join. You can become a member for as low as 16 cents a day. That's $5 a month.
The people on the ground and faith leaders and those just being really deliberate in making sure that the families could get inside. Even when they were rejected for not meeting dress code, which changes regularly, if you don't know. Right now they have a rule that men can't even wear navy blue shirts because they match those of the detained community members inside. And these are the arbitrary rules that families must deal with every week. And so this is the tedious work of providing the clothes, providing the food, providing the care, providing the resources, and building the trust between families and neighbors, and acknowledging that these are our neighbors inside. These are our co-workers. These are our loved ones. These are people's husbands. These are husbands and wives and lovers and friends and mothers and parents. And so really recognizing that these are everyday working people who need to get out. We don't want to just shut down Delaney Hall. We want to free them all. So thank you all for being here. Keep the energy up. I know we're here to support Gabby. We're keeping eyes on that van, and stand strong. We're so grateful that you're here, and yeah. So right now, I don't know what we're going to do right now, but I just wanted to thank you all for being. We're going to chant some more. We're going to keep the spirits up.
And I want to show you some of the signs here too, so you can kind of get a feel for what's going on. So we got Love Your Neighbor. We got We Stand with Delaney Hall Strikers and Their Families. Release all detainees. Shut down Delaney Hall now. You have I had always hoped that this land was safe, and that's some of the children of prisoners. We have an anti-fascist action sign. You see that sign over there. No concentration camps. And pretty sad in America, there's folks, quite a lot of folks, wearing masks. Part of that is because of the massive surveillance state that has exploded under this country, under this president. You might as well call him the Palantir president. And the other part is you never know if you're going to be tear gassed at these things. John behind the camera has probably been tear gassed, I don't know, at this point 50, 60 times. So they're chanting no KKK, no fascist USA. Let me see if I could speak with some other folks. Right now it's relatively calm. Before we got here, that van was all the way up to the gate, and the protesters backed them down basically, so they turned around. It is possible. We have seen in other places, Chicago, Minneapolis, and this has caused a lot of local tensions. We have seen police come in, local police, and, you know, in the name of quote unquote public safety, essentially help ICE by pushing protesters off, arresting protesters to help ICE exit. This is a private prison, but it's also a federal prison. So essentially, the state of New Jersey doesn't have control over it. But the police do not have to come here and essentially push peaceful, nonviolent protesters out of the way. That hasn't happened yet, but we've seen that happen in other places where police have come. They're trying to push bills in New Jersey and New York to basically bar the police from any type of cooperation or collaboration with ICE. I will tell you also, before this happened today, ICE officials outside who did not work at this prison came in to the prison to try and talk to the prisoners and basically get them to end the hunger and labor strike, to get them to eat the expired food, the food that has worms in it. And that's not an exaggeration. We're talking hundreds of prisoners have told their loved ones that they were fed live worms in their food, that they were fed sausage patties that are the color green. They have been fed milk to eat, not drink, like mushed up milk. They have been fed like barely enough food to sustain. And they are not getting recreation time regularly outside. They are being kept up all night, which is a form of psychological torture, which we've heard about at other ICE prisons. And essentially, the loved ones who come, in some cases, from states away, oftentimes the loved ones who drive for hours to come here only get 10, 15 minutes with their loved ones. So this is what's going on. This is what they're calling the worst of the worst. Essentially, fathers. There are women in this prison too, majority of whom who do not have a criminal record, all essentially to grease the wheels of the GEO Group, the for-profit prison operator. And let me be clear. They need prisoners in here, not deported. They need prisoners in here to make money, and they are making money by charging Gabriella Soto, the wife of Martin, who I interviewed just before. She has to pay nearly $200 a week to put into commissary for the privilege of talking to her husband on the phone. It gets cold in there. They have to pay for extra blankets or sweatshirts. So a prison that made $254 million in profit is charging loved ones to talk to them, is charging for blankets. It is a complete scam, total scam. And if you're new here, subscribe, by the way, if I forgot to say that. Let me show you this.
Sister Mindy every week when we can for the last year with all of these amazing folks, and we've gotten to know Gabby. Gabby is a strong woman. She knows what's right. She stands up for it, and you are here for her today. So thank you for being here. We are here for the families every visiting day. And who has been here on a visiting day? Just raise your hand if you've been here on a visiting day. So you know what I'm talking about. The little kids who come, who don't know if this will be the last time that they see their dad. The mothers who come that don't know if this will be the last time they'll see theirs. They are here facing inhumanity and cruelty in our name, and it is not okay.
Not okay.
And that is why we're here. When history looks back at this time, we will know that lives were lost because people have died. John Wilson Brutus died after being here. We will know that lives were destroyed. Our economic system is being destroyed. But right now we're here because of that man who's in that van. We will not be moved. He will not be moved. We will be here with Gabby. Yesterday, Gabby had her husband on the video call, and he was in his unit. And I don't know if you heard, but they have been protecting him. They were on a watch because they knew this could happen. So we're here now, but they've been in there for 3 days protecting him. And so that is the story that needs to be told. People who have nothing to lose at this point, but you know what they're not going to lose? Their humanity, their love, their dignity, their ability to use their agency. Do you know how much they get paid a day working in there? $1. That $1 has to be used to make a phone call. So if they're calling out to their family members, I'm guessing they've got to work 5, 6, 7 days to have a short phone call. Can you imagine? Who knows this? People don't know what's happening. They don't give them enough food. That is why they have to use their commissary to get supplemental food. There is another jail facility in California where at least 20 detainees are on hunger strike and an economic strike, refusing to buy commissary. Adelanto. This is a movement that we need to, when you go home, from when we stop this from happening, we will probably not be here forever. So when you go home, tell 5 people what is happening here. We need to get the word out. And this is about human beings standing up for other human beings. The system is corrupt. The system has been corrupt. The immigration system did not just break the day that Donald Trump came in for a second term of office. It has been a broken system.
That's right.
And we as the people need to say no. We need to get our elected officials to say no. We need to stand up for the people. And the mutual aid, I just gotta say, the worst part about this year, I don't know, there's like so many things that are so bad about this year. But the best part about this year has been since the first day I come and I stood at this corner and met these people and met the families who are here for mutual aid. So whatever you're doing with your energy, we need to not only focus on the systems, we need to focus on our humanity.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, people forget that we are connected to each other and that we have agency. So when you go home from here, do something that provides mutual aid and that raises awareness. Okay? Can you do that? Thank you.
And welcome new status Coup members just signed up. Ro, Heather, and Mark. Thank you, thank you. Keep signing up, statuscoup.com/join.
Walking and being abducted, and then having to be in a cage, and then, remember, you're struggling already, right? They're making you pay for soap. You can't even wash your body without paying for soap. It's awful. And this is one small part that isn't talked about enough, but I'm going to share it. I know we hear about people being detained, going to work in front of their houses, but you know what ICE loves to do? What's the best form of detaining people? You know how? Through something called detainers and holds. And I want to talk about that for a second because that's so important. We have something called the Constitution. And within the Constitution, there is something called due process. That means what? Innocent? I can't hear you. Innocent? Until proven guilty. Well, guess what? With detainers and hold, that doesn't apply to immigrants. All of a sudden, there's a class of people that get arrested for whatever reason. And I want to talk about how people get arrested. It could be me, it could be you. It's very easy for people to get arrested, especially if you're brown and black. And when you're arrested and you're accused and you have charges, remember, you've never seen a judge. You've never been convicted. ICE gets your fingerprints and then calls that facility, the police department, your local police department, or...
So for those of you coming new to this, I want to remind you what's going on right now. Looks like at this point probably about 75 to 100 protesters outside Delaney Hall ICE prison in Newark, and that white van behind the fence and barbed wire, we believe, has a prisoner by the name of Martin Soto. He's been in there for 4 months. He's lost 30 pounds, and he was essentially fooled and manipulated and entrapped this evening. He is one of the organizers who organized a massive hunger and labor strike inside, the biggest of any ICE prison happening right now, with nearly 1,000 prisoners joining in on this hunger and labor strike because of the torturous conditions inside. They told him a couple hours ago that he was going to be released, and he called his wife, Gabriella, to tell him he was going to be released. Gabriella had a bad feeling about it. She felt just uneasy and felt that it was too good to be true. And she started organizing people out here, and she came here, and once people started organizing, they saw them put him in handcuffs and throw him into a white van. So they were not releasing him. They lied to him to abduct him and take him somewhere else. So that white van over there, we believe he is in. And right now there's a standoff where they tried already to move him out. But the protesters here, you see these orange barricades, that was brought by the protesters. So they already successfully blocked ICE from transporting him out. Who the hell knows where? In a lot of cases, they're transporting them to torture camps in Texas before they deport them. Louisiana is a big one where they have taken people from the Northeast, prisoners, and put them in Louisiana before deporting them. But essentially, it seems they're retaliating against Martin because his wife, Gabriella, who is pregnant with their soon-to-be third child, has basically been a force of nature out here almost every day, organizing, getting media to come out here. Not enough. The national media should be out here, frankly. We are one of the only national outlets out here right now, from what I could tell. The local media kind of shows up sometimes for a few minutes and then leaves once they get their shot. We have been out here. I've been out here 3 times this week. We were just out here live yesterday. But this is a standoff going on. And frankly, even though we were in Minneapolis for 2 months, every day, live, John behind the camera, JT, my colleague, getting gassed, getting shot at with less lethal bullets, even though it's not as wild, wild west right now as it was back then, and you're not seeing that kind of escalation of the streets, the abductions have not ended across the country. They're only happening quieter because Trump launched an illegal war. We've stayed on it. Most of the media has ignored what's continuing to happen. And by the way, to be clear, Trump and his administration want to purchase 800 warehouses to put more prisoners in. There's not enough illegal immigrants in America to house that many warehouses. Do you think they're going to stop at undocumented immigrants? They've already abducted U.S. citizens. They've already almost deported U.S. citizens. They've already deported U.S. citizens. They've already killed U.S. citizens. So don't think this is just about immigrants, because this is going to come to you. They're building a massive surveillance state in this country. Palantir and Flock and all of these things. So now you see, that's not a van, but you see some type of car. It looks like a Jeep coming out. I'm on the lookout personally to see if local police come, because in a lot of cases we have seen local police come in the name of, quote, safety for the protesters, but really just to be collaborators with ICE to basically help ICE move and transport immigrants out. So let's take a look here. Smash the like button, share this live stream. I really have to kindly but firmly ask you, what is real, living, breathing, independent journalism worth to you? Because we are out here constantly, and we are independent. We do not have funding from Geo Group. We do not have funding from United Healthcare, etc.
We are not there yet. The ACLU has spoken to the U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S. Attorney's Office has given guarantees to Martin's attorneys that they will not be transferring him. But that's only one step, right?
That's right.
It's only one step. We still want Mikey Sherrill to get here. Mikey Sherrill is our governor, and before she was our governor, she was a congresswoman. She was a congresswoman who voted for more money for ICE. Mikey Sherrill needs to be educated.
So that breaking news, the protesters have successfully, it seems, stopped Martin Soto from being transferred out of here. Martin's lawyer has been guaranteed by the U.S. Attorney's Office that they're not going to transfer him out of here, which is a massive victory considering they basically tried to abduct him just a few hours ago. And just because of his wife, Gabriella, and these people out here, power of the people, they stopped it. Who knows if they were able to transfer him out of here, if people didn't come down here, if we weren't down here, if the few other media, mostly independent media, were down here, who knows, they might have him in a transport vehicle ready to deport him. And again, his wife is pregnant with their third child. So that's a major, major victory. We'll stay here longer to make sure that happens. Let me show you more from Kathy with Eyes on ICE.
They are part of the Trump administration that has lied to us over and over again.
They're lying to you too.
So we are going to wait here. We are going to make sure that they keep their word. And we are going to demand freedom not just for Martin, but for everyone. And not just everyone here, everyone everywhere. These places should not exist. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who runs them. They should not exist.
Can I ask you a question? So could you just give us a little more specific? The U.S. Attorney's Office has told Martin's lawyer that he will not be transferred?
That's correct, yeah. The ACLU is working in connection with Martin's attorneys, and they have reached out to the U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S. Attorney's Office has given some kind of representation guarantee to Martin's attorneys that they will not be moving him.
And do we even know, because it seems the prisoners said they had him sign a release form, but it wasn't really a release form. It just seems like they lied to him to get him in that van.
That's not unusual. That's not unusual. I have no idea. I don't know the specifics on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him a piece of paper and told him it was his release. That has happened before, where people are signing their voluntary departure, not knowing what they're signing. They're being told that it's something different than what they're signing. It's very common.
And I want to also, you said something important because everyone's focus is on Trump. The governor of New Jersey, who is popular right now, but when she was a congresswoman, she voted for more money for ICE. So did a lot of Democrats. And all the prisoners have asked is for her to come down here. She has not come down here yet. Senator Andy Kim came yesterday. Congressman Rob Menendez has been here several times. Congresswoman Ana Lilia Mejia was here the other day. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, who I believe this is her district. So there has been some Democrats, but I mean, the governor has a powerful bully pulpit, a powerful microphone. Why isn't she out here?
I don't know. You have to ask her. But, we've seen movement, particularly from Senator Kim and from Rob Menendez in terms of the language that they're using. They are starting to understand that the demand is freedom, that the demand is not better conditions, the demand is freedom. And that these places, just by virtue of their existence, it's torture, right? Indefinite detention, which is what we have now, is torture. And, we're this country that supposedly, believes in human rights for everyone, that freedom and, equality, or maybe not equality, but under the current regime, but...
Equality for rich white people.
Rich white people. There you go. Yeah, but I mean, that's, supposedly what, we're rededicating the country to those values, right? And it should be really easy for them to say that this is wrong. That people, it doesn't matter where they were born, right? They're human beings, and therefore we're all entitled to human rights.
And I want to also, as I told you, the police are here. I expected that to happen. I want to ask you, I can't help but think of the contrast. If you've been paying attention, the president is building a giant, almost $2 billion slush fund so that convicts who tried to overthrow the government by storming the Capitol can get reparations, basically. So those people who were convicted, tried to do a coup, they are going to get money, including, by the way, people who he pardoned who then got rearrested for things like child sex crimes. But they're trying to toss fathers and lie them into abduct people.
I'll one up you. I'll one up you. So how many tens of billions, hundreds of billions did they give to ICE, right? But they're taking health care away from those people who stormed the Capitol. So, and it would take a fraction of what they're paying ICE, right? And to lock up our neighbors, which isn't doing our economy any good. It's actually tanking our economy. It's not doing anybody any good. It's certainly not about public safety. We've proven that over and over again. So, they're stealing money from our healthcare, our schools, our streets, everything that we want as citizens and we think we pay our taxes for is going to places like this to keep people like Martin away from his U.S. citizen wife and U.S. citizen children.
My last question for you, a lot of people pay attention when there's action. We got over 100 people out here, a standoff, but I think people should recognize, and John, if you're able to show, you guys have been out here for almost every day for the last year. There's a solidarity tent. You guys have been out here in the freezing cold when there was no tent. You had to fight for that tent. You guys have been out here, many who don't even have loved ones inside. Can you kind of talk about the movement, the everyday movement that's been out here when there wasn't cameras, when there wasn't all these people?
Well, I mean, it's not just a year, right? We've been in New Jersey. We have a 30-year-long history of fighting ICE detention that goes back to the opening of the Elizabeth Detention Center. That's just the other side of the airport from here. So that organizing, that building, that community building, that strengthening. This is muscle memory. This didn't just happen overnight. This didn't even just happen in a year. This is work that people have been doing before I started, even 20 years ago. People were doing this work, and this is the product of it. We have these systems that we can call. We have a volunteer base here to keep this running of hundreds of people that we can communicate with and let them know that this is happening. And then they send it out to their networks, and we have the rapid response networks that we're tapping as well. So we're building the infrastructure to protect our neighbors. This is what love looks like, right? This is what loving your neighbor looks like for us.
How could people in New Jersey, New York, nearby get involved in the everyday movement here?
Really what we need and what the families need is money, right? They need money for lawyers, they need money for groceries, they need money and the people inside need money for commissary. So if you go to the Pax Christi, New Jersey Instagram page, you'll see a post there from yesterday with all the ways you can donate to the families, to the people inside. So I hope people...
Can you spell that? Pax.
Yes, PAXCHRISTINJ.
One more question. I don't think it's dramatic to say, if not for Gabriella and the people out here, it's very possible he could already be in motion to be deported, if not for these people.
Yeah. So it was Gabby who, sounded the alarm because she saw him being thrown into the van, and then it was the regular volunteers who are here who jumped in front of the van and stopped it pulled the barricades across so that the van could not get out.
So there is still hope in America, folks. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's Kathy O'Leary with Eyes on ICE.
Just want to show...
So if you're coming to this late, there's well over 100 people here at Newark, New Jersey. That is Gabriella with the pink vest. That's the wife of Martin Soto. He is in there. They basically lied to him, told him he was going to be released, and then handcuffed him and threw him in a van to basically re-abduct him out of here, essentially as retaliation against her, because she has been a force of nature out here for months trying to get attention to get this prison shut down, to release her husband and the nearly 1,000 other prisoners, which include men, women. There's been young people as young as 18 in here. There's been pregnant women who have had miscarriages in here. There was a death in December of a man who was only here for 24 hours before he died. We still don't have answers on what happened to him. It is a torture camp. A torture camp happening in America. And it is important because I know it's easy and it's profitable for media to pick a side, only focus on Trump, only focus on Democrats. But there was ICE prisons open before Trump. Obama deported more immigrants than any other president before him. Okay, so this has been going on for a long time, and this is a massive capitalist for-profit scam. Geo Group, the for-profit prison operator that owns this prison, made $254 million in profit last year. It was a 695% increase. Let that sink in. 695% increase in profit. What was that massive profit increase from? Prisons like this under Trump. They're chanting, free them all, free them all. And please, please, folks, smash the like button, share this live stream. Let's get this out to more people. And you could see Gabriella crying right now. You are not seeing this on CNN. You are not seeing this on MS Now. You are not seeing this, certainly not on Fox News, ABC, CBS, NBC. You're not seeing it in the New York Times, the Washington Post, Daily Beast, Reuters. You're certainly not seeing it on all the sea of podcasts that are having diarrhea of the mouth and putting out bullshit, reactionary, hot take content for clicks. We are the ones out here. We are, as far as I can tell, the only national outlet out here right now. We were out here yesterday, too. We were live because we give a damn, folks. I know times are tough, and if you can't help us, totally understand. But if you can, I am not beyond begging the people for support. Statuscoup.com/join. And powerful moment. You could right now see prisoners banging on the windows in solidarity with the protesters out here. So right there, I mean, I don't even need to say anything. It speaks for itself. That is incredibly powerful. We have prisoners banging on the walls from left to right. Colin, whoever's behind the scenes right now, if we could clip that ASAP for all social media. And now they're flickering the lights on and off in solidarity. We could see one prisoner, it looks, standing at the window with his arms crossed. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. We see the lights being flickered over there on the third, and Gabriella over here. And by the way, just so you know, I mean, I'm not saying anything that she hasn't said publicly. Gabriella in the pink over here is pregnant. This is a pregnant woman out here on the front lines, and she has openly said, I am willing to get arrested. I am willing to do anything it takes to free my husband and protect my family. So this is the woman right there that has helped organize this whole thing, and the prisoners are standing in solidarity, flickering the lights. I mean, that is an incredible moment that just happened. And please, folks, please, if you value this reporting, if you want justice journalism in America, this is not our first rodeo. We've been all over this country, the United Corporations of America, as I love to call it. We were on the ground covering the ICE terrorism in Los Angeles for 2 weeks, where our reporter got shot at by quote-unquote less lethal bullets. We've been on the ground at that concentration camp known as Alligator Alcatraz. We've been live at the courthouse in New York City where they abduct immigrants and also assaulted a local politician. We have been out there in Chicago for 2 months. We were out there in Minneapolis for 2 months. We have done more with so much less than CNN, than the New York Times, the Washington Post, MS Now, because we give a damn. And we have done it knowing these are not the stories that go viral, folks. These are not the stories that make you a $1 or billion-dollar media company. These are not the stories that get the clicks because the algorithms do not favor these kind of stories. They favor hot takes and reactionary conflict-driven stuff, not justice journalism. We have been to Flint. I have been to Flint over 20 times because the water is still toxic in Flint, Michigan, 12 years later, despite the bullshit the media says. We have been on the ground in East Palestine, Ohio, 8 times after Norfolk Southern nuked that town and Western Pennsylvania with cancerous gas. I could keep going down the list. We just did a reporting trip through the Midwest, 3 states in 5 days, covering the war against us while the war in Iran was going on. We interviewed people struggling to put food on the table, struggling to eat, choosing between groceries and medicine. We interviewed a woman with a lump on her breast who has 3 jobs but can't get any health care despite 3 jobs and didn't go to the doctor to get that lump checked. Those are the kind of stories we cover, and these are the people we cover. We don't cover the pundits. We don't interview politicians and experts. We interview the people where it matters. And we do it with 1/10 of the staff of other outlets. And I'm not just talking corporate media. I'm talking independent media, too. Most other independent outlets have a bigger staff than we do, much bigger. And they're not doing this. So if you can, please support us. That's how we pay John, our cameraman, myself, our few producers and editors we have. We only have a team of 5 or 6 people. And we're trying to grow, but we're doing it without corporate funding. We don't have corporate funding. We don't have corporate sponsors. It would be a lot easier if we did, but we don't. And we choose not to so we could be liberated to tell the goddamn truth. So support us if you can, statuscoup.com/join. Become a member for as low as $5 a month. And by the way, you can also donate, statuscoup.com/donate. Statuscoup.com/donate.
I also want to say there's another exit entrance on that side. That's where there's another group down there.
So John just told me there's another exit and entrance right down there. So there's another group down there. I would guess they're down there because they want to protect that exit too, because if people aren't down there, ICE could try and kind of do a bait and switch and move Martine out that way. And you see trucks coming by, honking in solidarity. So this is an extremely powerful moment going on right now. Try to. Can I talk to you real quick? So I'm with Sally. She's another Eyes on ICE organizer. Tell me about. I mean, this is an amazingly powerful moment. Them flickering the lights, the solidarity. You've been out here for a year with this. Tell me about what you're feeling right now.
Basically, what happened is that probably about an hour and a half ago, we got a phone call from Martin, Gabriella Soto's husband. He said ICE showed up in the unit. They said he's being released. They gave him a document. They did not show the document to anyone else. He was escorted out because he's being released. Gabriella and I went in. We thought it was going to be time for the visitation around 4:30. We were waiting and waiting. She basically got viewed that they would be taking him into the van. So they very uphandedly, shadily put him into the vehicle. They were taking him out. We had volunteers outside. Advocates who showed up. They barricaded. The van receded with him inside. He was banging onto the van, and they were trying to transport him out of this facility.
So they basically lied to him and then tried to re-abduct him.
Absolutely.
That doesn't sound like the first time to me. They probably done.
Absolutely not. But basically, we were able to stop them from moving that vehicle out of the slot, which is right there. It's parked. He's in the vehicle. We're not sure. We kind of have our eyes on the vehicle right now, but we were told he's still sitting in the vehicle.
And can you talk about why specifically you think they tried to specifically take him? Because he's been involved with this strike. By the way, that's nearly 1,000 people in here are in this hunger and labor strike, but it seems like they were retaliating against him.
Absolutely, they're retaliating against him because they know that his wife is outside. She's been very, very, very vocal. She has been rallying. She's been using her voice as the platform for the voices inside. She's been very vocal to try to free him and to try to free everyone. So there's no question, there's no doubt that this is retaliation. They want to move him, they want to silence her, and they want to silence him.
Let me also ask you, because it seems to me like this would be the perfect moment for New Jersey's politicians to be out here. I know there were a few here yesterday, Senator Andy Kim, Congressman Rob Menendez. The governor has been basically demanded to show up. She hasn't yet. She's popular here. When she was a congresswoman, she voted for money for ICE, but she can't free them. It's a federal prison, but certainly it's...
They want to see her. They want her to show up. That's their demand, regardless of the power that she has. They want to see her here. They want her to acknowledge and respect what they're asking for, and she has not showed up yet. So that's their first and foremost demand. The second demand is that we want to make sure these barricades would be removed now that we know that the ACLU has confirmed that they have spoken to the U.S. Attorney's Office that they will not be transferring Martin out of the facility. But we want to make sure, number one, that we still block any vans coming out to make sure that that is not a farce. And the second thing is that make sure that they install visitation tomorrow, because we have no idea if that they will stop any visitation. Families have showed up. One unit could not get in today. It's very unfortunate that the visitation was stopped, but we don't know how this will transpire into tomorrow.
You know, maybe this is a dumb question. If this is all about immigration and deportation, why are people like Martine languishing in here for 4 months? You have people in here for 4 months, longer than that. I mean, the federal government has the efficiency, if they really wanted to quickly deport people. It seems to me it goes against the business model to deport these people.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about, they're not in a rush to deport anyone?
They're not in a rush to deport anyone because it's a money-making business. Human beings who are locked up is a commodity to GEO and to the federal government who's paying. The whole model of their plan and their game is to deport as many people as possible or put them in detention for a long period of time so that they can mentally break people down to self-deport, and then hoping that the families would follow. I'm already losing my voice being here in the past few days. So there's no question, no doubt in my mind, there's people languishing in here beyond 10 months. I have people in here 16 months in detention. So across the board, we are saying from the time the facility opened, there are people still detained here beyond 10 months going on to a year.
Can you talk about, I mean, there might as well be no medical care. Women have miscarried. There was a death in December. Can you talk about, I mean, I'm told pretty much everyone is sick with something. Tell me what's going on in there.
Well, yes. So there are folks in there. As you know, we spoke about this, the medical care. But as of like today, we just found out the woman who was pregnant inside, we found out that she had a miscarriage. So, it is absolutely abysmal. The level of care that they're providing. DHS has basically said this is not true. Has said it's not true that there's a strike in there. But we know, we are on the ground. We've been speaking to families. We've been speaking to people inside who had confirmed the medical issues, had confirmed the atrocious meals that they're getting. And we are physically seeing people lose tremendous amount of weight. We physically are seeing many families that have seen their loved ones have severe medical conditions in there, and they're not getting timely medical care, or they're not getting the medication that they should be getting.
Who the hell knows if they are released, what condition they'll be in?
Absolutely. We don't know what the long-term consequences of being locked up in this facility is gonna have on them in the near future.
My last question. I don't know. It just kind of seems like we're in the twilight zone. The president is now creating a nearly $2 billion slush fund for January 6th convicts who were convicted of trying to overthrow the government violently. So they're getting reparations while fathers are being abducted, getting diapers, and fed worms. They were fed worms earlier this week, and they're called criminals, but these people are called patriots. What the hell's going on in this country?
Well, this administration is creating their own narrative so that their supporters can feed into this chaotic system that they're creating to induce fear in who are the immigrants. They are the backbone of this country. The immigrants are the ones that do the work in this country. They are the ones that what makes America special. The people that we are seeing detained in this facility do not have a criminal history. These are fathers, these are mothers who are compliant. They were attending the court hearings. They were attending the ICE check-ins. They were complying with the law. They want to be here. They're not a flight risk. They're not a danger to community. But yet, this government is locking them up, separating families, separating children, and there's a high consequence of that. These are children who are suffering. These are families who are suffering because their loved ones are languishing in this prison where there's a lack of medical care, there's a lack of food quality in this facility. And GEO is denying it and ICE is denying it.
One more thing. I don't think people realize they've taken one half of the household out, as no one can afford gas, groceries, healthcare, childcare. The effect on the loved ones, not just emotionally, but financially, the kids are. I mean, I just interviewed a girl who should be excited for her prom. She's suicidal because her mother's in there. Can you talk about the effect on the family?
There's a detrimental effect. We are seeing it on the ground that there's a need, a high-level need for therapists to support these families.
And they're flashing the lights again in there as Gabriella. I mean, this is like a scene out of a movie, but it's real life. They're flashing the lights in solidarity, so the prisoners are feeding off of the protesters, and it's kind of a yin and yang. It's really powerful. It's great energy.
They're hearing us from Unit 3.
I know.
She just said that they're hearing us from Unit 3. So that's Gabriella. She's a real force of nature. You were saying about the effects on the family.
I had a 9-year-old girl who actually told her teacher and the school her father is locked up in here for it's going on 10 months already, and basically she was suicidal. And she was removed from the school because she said she would die or she could not live without her father because she knows her father is being deported. And so we know there's a huge psychological effect. There's a huge traumatization on the families, on the children. This is a generation that is going to be difficult to come by because what we are doing to them is, there's no answer. Cruelty is beyond the point at this point of what we are seeing happen to families and the children.
How can people watching from around the country help? Kathy mentioned the Pax Christi for donations. Is there other ways people can get involved, whether they're close by or not?
I mean, send us your love, send us your prayers, stand in solidarity with us from across the country, across the world. Just know that the system in America is unjust. It's deplorable in terms of how immigrants are being treated here, and we need everyone to come together and unify so that we could put an end to the system that is breaking apart and tearing apart families.
Do we know if her husband is still in that white van, or we don't?
The last time that we knew he was in the van, we have been trying to watch to see if there is any movement. I do envision he's still sitting in that vehicle. I think that they will not move him, maybe because we are still here and watching, but he was in the van when the last visitation unit came out. I'm not sure if you can go from the side. You might be able to get some glimpse from the Essex parking lot to see if there's someone sitting in the van. But it seems like it's a standoff.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So it is 8:30, almost 8:30 Eastern time here, and it looks like we still have a bit of a standoff. We are told that he is not going to be transferred, but that is what we're being told from the U.S. Attorney's Office, which is under the federal government and the Trump administration. So I would not exactly take that as gospel. It looks like Congressman Rob Menendez has arrived. He was here, I believe, yesterday, and he's been here several times. So at least one politician is here. He's a New Jersey congressman. He's been inside to inspect many times, so we will see what role he is going to play, if he is going to be able to go inside and speak with ICE guards. I'll try to get an update on that. The crowd is still pretty strong out here. It looks like well over 100 people. Keep smashing that like button, and please sign up if you can. Sign up as a Status Quo member. Do you see CNN out here, folks? Do you see MS Now Fox News, NBC, ABC, CBS, New York Times, Washington Post, Reuters, Daily Beast, the rest of the riffraff. There's a goddamn digital diarrhea out there. Everybody, their mother and their dog has a YouTube channel and a Substack and a TikTok. But so few of them are actually leaving their fucking studios or basements and being on the ground with the people. We are. So please, please, support Status Coup. I will take off my glasses and I am not beyond begging the people. Statuscoup.com/join. 16 cents a day. That's all I'm asking. 16 cents a day. That's $5 a month. There's got to be something you spend $5 on a month that you don't crucially need that could be sent to actual living, breathing justice journalism. And you might not think $5 a month matters. The more people that sign up at $5 a month, we have other levels too, $10, $20 and higher. The more people that sign up, the less we have to worry about chasing views, chasing what's clicky, how much money we're making on YouTube, because we have stable revenue coming from the people. Let's take a listen to what's going on here with Congressman Rob Menendez.
We were there. We saw them put it in the bag.
Congressman Rob Menendez is going to the gate now. He was talking to Gabriella Soto, the wife of Martin. Let's see if they're going to let him in. So he's trying to get the attention, it seems, of some of the guards to let him in. And I will say, I don't often credit politicians, but credit to Congressman Menendez. I believe this is the second time he's been here in 24 hours. I think he was here earlier this week, so he's been here several times.
But we also need the governor.
Va a intentar entrar al centro de detención. Vamos a ver qué pasa.
And by the way, these politicians, by law, are allowed to come and inspect, and they don't have to be announced.
Yeah, we've been in touch with her office. I just need someone, because I have to leave my phone in my car, so I just need someone who has contact with our office so they can let ICE know that we're here. Someone from here from Alliance for Immigrant Justice.
Yes.
Just have them come.
Yeah. Hi. My name is
So Menendez is trying to get in. So there you see again, the prisoners are waving through the window. They are waving through the window. As you can see, the emotion. Gabrielle Soto, Martin's wife, is out here trying to stop her husband essentially from being abducted and kidnapped. Well, he's already been abducted and kidnapped, but re-abducted and kidnapped. So right there you see again prisoners inside waving. It's been a mix of them waving, banging the window, blinking the lights, showing that solidarity, which is pretty incredible. And by the way, let's focus on Trump, but the governor of New Jersey could get anywhere relatively quick. She has her own private helicopter. She could get here if she wanted to. That's Governor Mikey Sherrill. So she is not here. Congressman Menendez is. Yesterday, Senator Andy Kim was here. Did you want to say something?
I'm going to show
Okay. John's going to show the van again. Again, that white van, we believe, is where Martin Soto is in. The husband of Gabriella. And obviously ICE is monitoring and the prison is monitoring what's going on, so they're aware the congressman is here, and they don't seem to be in a rush to let him in. They don't seem to be in a rush to let him in. Can I talk to you? What's your name?
My name is Jenny Garcia. I'm with Eyes on Ice.
I heard you calling for the governor. It seems strange to me, like the governor has her own helicopter. She can get here.
She has her own helicopter. She is the highest executive official in the state right now. If she wanted to be here, she would. You know, we are tired of hearing from the governor's office that they will give us updates. We have not heard from her specifically. When she campaigned to be governor of the state, she stood over there on that tree. She released a statement today that she's against private prisons. So why is she not here? You know, there's people who have HIV who refuse to take their medication until the governor comes and sees their unit. There apparently is a 17-year-old here. There are multiple 18-year-old girls in Unit 1 who are not going to prom, who are not going to graduation. There has been multiple miscarriages in this facility.
I just heard about another one.
We are reaching a critical point, you know. I think you may have heard that they conducted a ruse to try to get Gabby's husband out of their unit, showed him supposedly real documentation that he was going to be released. That's why the other guys in his unit let him go, because Martin was leaving happily. They were like, wow, I'm finally being released, but it was only a trap to get him out of his cell and to make him think he was being released when they really were going to transfer him. All DHS has done is lie and intimidate. They're taking people from multiple units in the cafeteria and taking a picture to try to make it seem as though there's no hunger strike going on. They're taking people from multiple units. When somebody is about to get transferred, they make that your commissary goes to zero. Your commissary goes to zero, and what they're doing is they're turning people's commissary to zero to make them think that they're getting transferred, and then they turn it back on. So men are going into the commissary seeing zero, believing they're about to be transferred. They're playing psychological games with people there, and this is a private company that over 15 years is going to make $1 billion, and we are tired of the treatment that people are experiencing here. We refuse to normalize that this is normal. There's a man in a wheelchair there. There are people that are supposed to be going through their cancer treatments, and the way that they treat the visitors is also entirely inhumane. So
you think part of what they're doing in here, and ICE in particular, is they're trying to kind of cut this off before it gets bigger and possibly inspires other prisoners and other ICE facilities around the country to do similar?
Absolutely. In Adelanto, California, there is a labor and hunger strike going on. I believe somewhere in Washington, La Resistencia in the Northwest region, I'm pretty sure people detained form a union of kidnapped people. You know, when we say, like, they have their own voice in there, they are organizing in a way that us out here wish to organize. They are taking care of each other in a way that we should all aspire to. I do think they are scared because then they are on their best behavior. On the days that Congress people come, they serve chicken, which they never do, or they clean up really well. But they're not even paying people the $1 a day program that they force people to do. People are forced to clean the bathrooms with their own hand soap and their own personal body soaps because they're not even getting proper cleaning supplies to clean their own bathroom. So,
you know, something that I think a lot of people don't think about, the Trump administration wants to purchase, reports have said, up to 800 more ICE warehouses. There's not enough undocumented immigrants in America to house that many people. It seems to me they're not trying to stop at immigrants. And this could be a slippery slope to start rounding up eco-terrorists, to start rounding up Antifa, etc.
And you talk to people from across the country, because of U.S. imperialism, like, activists have always been targeted. Environmental activists have always been targeted. I'm from Honduras, and Berta Cáceres was assassinated 10 years ago for trying to protect the river in Honduras. And out here in New Jersey, they purchased Roxbury, which is a huge warehouse out there that they're trying to convert. And we should just all be concerned, not the fact, you know, that they could be coming for us, but that some really fucked up shit is happening there to people who are fathers and brothers and mothers and things like that. And they just want to keep things behind closed doors. And now it's finally coming out through these cards that people have organized. From the organizing for families out here, what's really going on in there behind the closed walls of these prisons.
They were fed worms this week, I was told. There's black mold inside. Prisoners are kept awake all night. Prisoners have to pay for extra blankets, sweatshirts. Wives have to pay nearly $200 a week to speak with their husbands. It seems like a giant scam to me.
It is, even as something as simple as the vending machines in the visitation room. They're constantly filled up, whatever the e-commerce is in the visitation room. They are making a killing off the visitors who are just trying to feed their loved ones extra food during visitation. Or if you think about the company that provides the medication, it's called Major Pharmaceuticals, which is another company that I'm sure is making a profit right now, and they've also been cited for like contamination of their medication products. Driscoll Foods is the company that serves food here. So whether it was Driscoll Foods or whether it was Geo Group that served worms in the food that weekend to that unit, I think everybody's complicit.
What's your name again?
Jenny Garcia.
Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate it.
Jordan, right?
Yeah, Jordan. Thank you. So the congressman was just allowed in. People are cheering. And just so you know, for people that are new to status quo, I actually intentionally did not stand there and, hold the microphone up to the camera, the politician, which is what the rest of the media was doing. Credit to him for coming, but I think it's more important to actually talk to the people, to spotlight the people, not the politicians. So most local media, that's what they do. They show up, they try to get a little soundbite from a politician, they try and, if they can, get some shots with the politician. The politicians love it because they're all narcissistic egomaniacs, but most of the media don't actually interview the people. If they do, maybe for a minute, just get something so they turn it around for the evening news. They're not out here live for hours and hours with the people like us. I think it's more important to give the microphone back to the people, not so much the politicians. I will credit a politician if they do something right. Menendez is not his first time here. He was here yesterday. He was here earlier in the week. So were we. Congresswoman Ana Lilia Mejia, recently elected. She had that big upset victory in the district that Governor Mikey Sherrill used to be the congresswoman for. She was here earlier this week. Congresswoman LaMonica MacGyver was here. This is her district. So there have been politicians out here. The governor has not. Where is filibuster Cory Booker? Where's Senator Cory Booker? He's all about love and, vibes and talk, loving Trump's hate or whatever that mojo is. Did that filibuster? He's not out here. They're flickering the lights again. So that's been happening periodically where you see prisoners flickering the lights. They're waving. I don't know. Someday maybe they'll turn this into a movie. It's unbelievable. John behind the camera, you've covered the ICE terror in Chicago, Minneapolis, Florida, you name it. Tell me what's going through your mind shooting this.
If I had to say, well, when we think about revolution and, fighting back, we think of protests or riots in the streets, but nobody thinks about community building. So I think that's where the real revolution starts, is building community like this, looking out for each other, and just, you got, local support. So
why don't you ever want to come on camera? That was very powerful.
Somebody's got to be behind the camera to shoot this stuff.
He's very articulate, and if you're single and in your late 20s or 30s, he's looking to mingle. Anyway, he's going to be mad at me for that one. Not the time. All right. Let's get back here to the people. Smash the like button, share this live stream, get it out to more people. If you can, post this live stream as a social media post on your social media. The more people that just spread this, not just the share button, but post it on your social media. Tell people to watch, tune in if they don't know what's going on. It looks like the crowd's grown, actually. And why don't we actually show people down there, too? So I just want to show you that there are protesters down the street, too. Guarding the exit and entrance at the other side, because essentially if they don't guard the exits on this other side, ICE could do a little bait and switch and try and abduct Martine that way. So as you see, This is a dreary-looking prison, like most of them. You see the barbed wire. Geo Group, the 4-prison operator, they got $1 billion contract for this hellhole in which they're serving worms and sausage patties that are the color green. But you can see out here that there are people guarding this exit here. So, see if I can talk to anyone. How you doing? How's it going? So they're blocking this entrance here. If anyone wants to come on, we're live. Totally cool if not. But I just wanted to show this exit entrance. We're with Status Coup. How you doing? Yeah. You want to talk?
How you doing? Oh, I was just saying what's good.
Cool, cool. So this exit entrance. Come on. Don't be shy. Come on. I want everybody over there is getting the love. I wanted people to know that there's people over here. Tell me about you guys are essentially blocking this exit as well.
Yeah, we're pretty much looking at all the entrances, just giving status updates to folks, just to make sure, they don't try coming out any other entrances or trying nothing. So we're just monitoring all the gates, making sure, see what's what,
And I don't know if you heard, but they essentially tried to kind of like fool this guy by having him sign a release.
All types of stuff. They tried to either get him to sign the deportation papers, or they were telling him he was going to get released, and they pulled the switch on him right as I think people were in the visitation room. So real awful shit that they're trying to pull with this guy. And I think the van might still be there in front of it. So so they're just fucking torturing this guy. It's terrible.
You're with DSA over there. So tell me about, it's incredible because obviously we saw, the whole country was zoomed in on ICE terror in Minneapolis. Yep. Then Trump starts this war and, the media and everybody kind of forget about it for a little bit. But this stuff has still been going on. Yep. People are still being abducted in Jersey, all over the country. We're having, people are having miscarriages in there. They're being fed worms. Yeah. We're also having, essentially, Trump is trying to purchase 800 warehouses.
Yeah, trying to do one in Roxbury, and that's what we're fighting as well.
Tell people if they don't know about the fight against the ICE prison in Roxbury, New Jersey.
Yeah, so basically there was a story came out, Washington Post, in last December, where they essentially leaked plans about trying to buy a whole bunch of warehouses around the country, and lo and behold, Roxbury, New Jersey was there, right? If folks don't know, Roxbury, New Jersey is, in West Morris County is all Republican town council, and we actually didn't know at the time, but the town attorney of Roxbury is the state GOP Senate minority leader, right? So all the cards, theoretically, were in it for them to be able to do whatever they want in Roxbury. So a whole bunch of folks out there, DSA, Sussex Visibility Brigade, I'm missing Roxbury Democrats, all types of folks who are out there, all organized to go to these town council meetings and organize, talk to people, say, hi, what's the situation, town council, what do you guys know? And so to kind of summarize that fight, we've been going to council meetings, trying to pressure our legislators, pressure Cheryl, pressure our senators and whatnot to do something about this place and get them to stop the. Sorry, I'm paying attention over there too. But no, yeah. So basically, at Roxbury, they bought a warehouse. We were trying to prevent the sale. Dalphin Industrial and Goldman Sachs. So yeah, exactly. Dalphin.
Did I say this is a scam? Did you just hear Goldman Sachs?
Yeah. And they both sold this place to DHS for double the tax evaluation of it. It was only valued at something like $69 million. They bought it. DHS bought it for $129.3 million.
So one of these Trump-inflated crypto scams.
And what they're trying to do is buy these places for a lot to do it quickly. Get past the processes and just try to convert it so that no one can oppose them, right? But we've been also doing eyes on ICE outside of the warehouse too, monitoring if contractors come in, if people are trying to do work on the place, convert, if they're trying to store people there already, right, past even trying to convert it. So we've been going to meetings all over the place, sewerage authority meetings, all types of meetings to say are people going to stand up and make sure that this place doesn't get powered, doesn't know sewage to that place, water, and making sure we can stop illegally as well. And we won that injunction actually, I want to say a week or two ago. They came to federal court to try, basically Roxbury and the town or the state of New Jersey sued them with the aid of some of our folks, they sued them and made sure, hey, you violated 1, 2, 3, 4 million federal laws. You have to stop. You can't do this conversion. And DHS more or less gave up. They went all the way to the hearing. We had a rally outside the federal courthouse, and they said, you know what, F it. We're going to agree to everything that you want. We're going to stop the conversion until they do an environmental assessment, which could take anywhere from months to years.
You know, something that I don't think people get, and I don't think this is like conspiracy to say, they're talking about 800 warehouses.
Yep.
There's not enough undocumented immigrants in the country to fill 800 warehouses. We're talking some of these you could have 1,000 to 2,000. So it seems to me they're not stopping at immigrants. We've heard the president say, well, we should denaturalize people who are naturalized citizens. We've heard, hey, you know, there's some bad hombre U.S. citizens in here. Maybe we should deport them too. They took, you know, eco-terrorists. We've heard that forever from Republicans. Antifa. So it seems to me if people like you are not actually guarding the gates, this could go well beyond, not that it's okay that it's immigrants, but it could go well beyond to actual citizens.
And that's what they've, at least in their rhetoric, have been pitching, right? You know, unruly citizens, people who are actually standing up, even just people who are handing out Know Your Rights information are people that might get wrapped up in whatever raids they try to push on people, whatever kidnappings they try to do of activists, especially pro-Palestinian activists who might have a green card or might have like mixed documented status, you know? So this is why, like, I think as a universal human rights principle, people have to stop this stuff with the so-called like people who are on the fringes, because they're not ever going to stop with those people who are on the fringes, you know? We have to oppose it outright. We have to make sure places like this get shut down permanently, not repurposed from some other use. Just shut down these ICE prisons, shut down the private-public partnership that they're pushing with some of these places, and just abolish ICE outright, you know?
You know what? For the $1 billion that Geo Group got for this hellhole, can you imagine what that $1 billion could do for Newark, New Jersey?
Yep. Anywhere, Newark, Patterson, Edison, any urban center, honestly, anywhere in the state of New Jersey, right? All these states, all these municipalities are dealing with budget shortfalls. You know, Trump's war in Iran is crunching everyone's pockets. What are we wasting money on? We're wasting money on torturing people. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking, you know, it's horrible.
What's your name again?
John.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I have to say it. Night at the Roxbury.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I was thinking it the whole time. Be well. All right. So they're guarding that gate over there. Smash the like button. Share this live stream. I think we've been live for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Who knows? But Johnny drove from Long Island all the way out here. That's dedication. And I will say, these people are out here on their Memorial Day weekend. They could be, you know, well, not at the beach. The weather sucks, but, you know, they could be having a drink. Most of them are off tomorrow. But they're out here for the cause of justice. It's a beautiful thing. All right, he's going to check the battery. They're chanting, "Free them all." And I'll also ask for the people watching, if you can, it's free. Make sure to sign up to our Substack. You can sign up to our Substack. That's statusquosubstack.com. We do a lot of our investigative journalism there in written form. We post when we're going live on our Substack, which helps because oftentimes YouTube doesn't actually notify people. By the way, on the whole notification thing, if you're subscribed, next to the subscribe tab, there's a bell icon. Click that bell, because a lot of you have chosen to get all notifications, but YouTube has removed you from all and moved you to personalized. So a lot of people, you have to actually go in manually and re-click all, so you're getting all notifications. So make sure you do that. Of course, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. But you can subscribe to our Substack. There is a paid option too, but there's a free option. And we make stuff on Substack available to almost all of our posts are for everyone. So you can sign up, statusquosubstack.com. That's a great way of getting our investigative journalism. We do a lot of long-form written work there, statusquosubstack.com. So they're still flickering the lights up there. And they're saying, "Free Martine, free Martine." And from what I could tell, we've been here for a few hours. Is that the same van? Let's take a look. What's up, man? So it does look like the van that they did have Martine in has been moved. So I don't know if they have taken him out. Let me see if I can get an update. Do we know if that was the van?
No, it's actually this one.
Oh, that van right there? Okay. And he's, as far as we know, he hasn't been taken out? So this van over here, right here, this van over here that's parked there is the van that has her husband in it. I can't see through the barbed wire if he's still in there, but from what I'm told, he's still in there. So he's been in there. Hey, could you imagine if you're Martine and you're hearing all this and he could probably see his wife through here. I mean, just imagine your loved one through barbed wire fence, begging, desperately fighting to get you out as they just lied and told you were released before handcuffing you. They literally, I mean, who knows? Honestly, at the rate they're moving humans like Amazon packages in this government, he could have been down south by now preparing to be deported, if not for Gabriella. And I will say, just so you really get a feel for the bravery of this woman, the stamina. I mentioned she's pregnant, which she has said publicly. I spoke with her yesterday. She had no voice. She was at the doctor because she's been out here every single day fighting for his release. She has other children that she has to care for. When I was interviewing her, you could see she's sick and coughing. So this is what loved ones are having to do to free their kidnapped spouses. And I also want to mention, obviously, the focus is on Gabriella right now. But yesterday, while we were here, I interviewed a teenager. I think she's 17. Her name is Clara Lynn Harris, and Clara's mother was taken and is inside there. And Clara, she has an autoimmune issue. She was already losing hair before her mother was abducted, but her hair loss has accelerated since her mother was abducted, and she should be getting ready and excited for her prom, but literally is suicidal because she has depression, anxiety, and her mother, who's been kidnapped and put in here, her mother, who, by the way, has her own health issues, was her support system. And she broke down crying during our interview yesterday. So this is affecting people of all ages. There's young kids without their parents. There's teenagers. It's already hard enough being a teenager. She doesn't have her mother, and she straight up told me that she's felt suicidal for weeks because her mother is kidnapped in here, and she won't leave her room. She is that depressed and anxious. So that's what we're talking about here. And she should be excited for her prom right now. She should be, doing what teenagers do. But she is literally wanting to hurt herself because her mother's been kidnapped in here for no reason. I think her mother missed immigration court date like 20 years ago, and that's why they snagged her. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. So that, you could see that interview. I think we clipped some of it and posted it on our Twitter and Blue Sky, but it's on our live stream. So if you have time later or tomorrow, definitely check out the live stream we did from here yesterday. We were live yesterday afternoon for almost 2 hours. Some folks in the comments are saying imprison ICE agents for being mercenaries for hire, all of them. I'll take a hardworking immigrant over a lazy white supremacist.
Well, also, this is human trafficking. They're doing human trafficking. This is what this is.
That is spot on analysis. We're seeing the blinking again happening. And by the way, I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised. I don't want to jinx it, but we haven't seen police out here yet doing the bidding of ICE. So that's positive. And the protesters have been able to, peacefully protest out here without gas, without quote-unquote less lethal bullets, which is not less lethal. So this is very good. This is very good. I'm going to go try to talk to some more people. And you see the anti-fascist flag is up there. A sign that says immigrants are part of America. And by the way, people have been saying in the chat, which I agree with, I shouldn't even call them prisoners. You're right. The hostages. They are being held hostage. So that's a good point. We see folks singing out here.
Free them all! 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 Cuando! 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 Cuando!
What's your name?
My name's Adam Marshall.
So you've been out here for a while. It just seems like the energy keeps building. I've seen more people come out. You see the solidarity between the, I think, hostages inside, blinking the lights. Tell me about kind of what you're feeling, seeing what's going on.
Well, a lot of us have been here since literally February of 2025, fighting for moments like this, where we have a critical mass, where people who are united by an awareness of this growing concentration camp system inside of our country are finally fighting back. This is, we stand in solidarity with the protesters that have been doing this in the Midwest and elsewhere, and we're just happy to see it. We want to center, of course, the experiences of people inside this building and the very presence of this place in an industrial zone, in a place where there are threats to life based on many of the facilities that you see all throughout the street. We are right across from the Energy Transfer LLP. They have this petroleum farm, and it kind of unites us to the protests that have happened at the Dakota Access Pipeline. The same company owns this facility.
I was about to say, do you know who one of Trump's biggest donors is? The billionaire CEO of Energy Transfer, who was behind terrorizing Native Americans and standing.
Indeed. So all issues, whether it's environmental, social, and all types of justice, are converging in one point. And I'm happy that we get to share it with all these people.
I think it's important to add, particularly when it's hotter out, it stinks in this neighborhood because of some of what we're seeing, and I was told it's even worse inside when it's really bad outside.
Absolutely. So some of the worst offenders that are out here, we have the Passaic Valley Sewerage Commission. They process the waste for this area. We have, of course, also Darling Products. When they're running production, their white smokestack creates a putrid fume. There's also an asphalt works that's just down the road. When they're running production, there's this very sweet and strange odor that comes. Sometimes we lose taste in our mouths when that happens. Same thing with the Covanta Reworld plant just down the street from here. They are a trash incinerator, and it's, you know, there's been strange things that have happened there. Pink smoke, the burning of iodine, all kinds of things that are in violation of the Clean Air Act and worsen the lives of people not only living and working in this area of Doremus Avenue, but the entire South Ward of Newark. 1 in 4 black children, as a result of the disastrous environment policies that are taking place here, have asthma. And so many other medical issues.
And my last question, obviously there's plenty of focus on Trump. I mean, the governor has her own plane. She could be here in 20 minutes if she wanted to. What are your thoughts that the governor, we've seen other politicians come here, but the governor has not been here as governor, particularly during this hunger strike?
Well, I mean, Governor Sherrill is a veteran, and, you know, I would say that she signed the same oath that I did, in that we want to support and defend the Constitution. The 14th Amendment is part of that Constitution. Anyone who's serious about that oath will be down here to fight against all of this, because you're right, it goes much further than just Trump. It is a pattern that's existed since the birth of this country, and we have the chance to fix this.
And one more question. I didn't know you were a veteran. Thanks for your service. What does it say to you that, I mean, you fought for this country and literally they're abducting immigrants. We were all immigrants. Trump's wife is an immigrant. And they're abducting immigrants when this is supposed to be land of the free and opportunity.
I have to say that in my own unit, I served with people that were from all over the world, from Micronesia to Mexico to countries everywhere, and they fought honorably. They did everything that was asked of them, and in some cases, you know, one of the soldiers that I knew, his family, unfortunately, had people detained. We've had National Guard members come here in uniform to visit their families. Same thing with the Navy, same thing with all kinds of other active duty and reserve components. It's when you're hurting these people, there is no separation between them and the men and women that help to support this country and to fight for it.
What's your name?
Adam.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
Thanks for what you guys do.
Absolutely.
Police dogs, and they enacted violence on everyday workers. Shame! Shame! Now we have those who are being detained in Delaney Hall on a labor strike, and we're here to support them as they're on a hunger and a labor strike. This shows our collective power as workers. Yes! Woo! So when I say worker, you say power! Worker! Power! Worker! Power! Worker! Power! Worker! Power! Worker! Power! Worker! Power! And let's not forget that our immigrant, mixed status, undocumented, and otherwise brothers and sisters who are holding up our economy, they contribute billions of dollars annually to all of our systems. So when I say immigrant, you say power. Immigrant power. Immigrant power. Immigrant power. Immigrant power. Worker. Worker power. Worker power. Immigrant power. Immigrant power. Immigrant power. Worker power. Worker power.
So, if you see the camera start to shake, it's because I'm taking the camera for a minute, and I'm a horrible camera person, so that John could take photos. We got to multitask these days in independent media. So John's taking photos of his camera so we could get some of these photos out on social media. So I'm holding the camera for a second.
But while we're on the topic, how many people know how much money undocumented immigrants contribute to the economy in the U.S. every single year?
A lot.
A lot. How much? Take a guess. More than $1 billion? Yes. Yes. It's hundreds of billions of dollars every year. You might say, Asma, how do we know they're money they're contributing. Did you know they will never receive the Social Security they're paying into? They will never receive it. They're paying into a system. They're paying into a system that they don't benefit from. Do you know they are not allowed to get food stamps from the federal government? Do you know that? So when people talk about handouts, let's talk about who's really getting the handouts, because it ain't the undocumented community, it's the billionaires. It's the billionaires. So they're taxing, they're writing tax cutoffs through writing jets, and they're getting tax cutoffs. When you're talking about handouts, yes, we're giving handouts. You know who it's to? The billionaires. Not people who are struggling. So, again, we value our neighbors regardless of how they contribute to the community, their contributions economically. That's not what we look at. There is intrinsic value in every single one of them and every single one of us. So we're going to chant, tell them what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell them what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show them what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell them what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show them what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Free them all.
Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all.
And there's kids that are out here with their parents. I see some boomers out here, some older folks, some younger folks, so a lot of people out here.
Free them all. Free them all.
Free them all. Free them all.
Free them all. Free them all.
So Gene Wilson, Brutus's blood stains the hands of every GEO employee group, and he is the man who died in here in December. He was an immigrant who was literally brought in here and died 24 hours later, and we still don't know why. There has been no answers given. Essentially, DHS ICE gave another bullshit statement for all the prison deaths that there was a medical event and it was a natural medical thing. I don't know. It doesn't seem so natural if you're brought in here and 24 hours later you're dead. So I'm taking the camera for a second so John can take a photo of that. I believe he was a Haitian immigrant, and he died 24 hours after being brought in here. And if you can't see, people are tending to Gabriella Soto here, the wife of Martin, giving her blankets, giving her, drinks so she doesn't dehydrate. She's pregnant. So they're opening the gate there. So it seems like they open the gate periodically for shift change.
not sure what they're trying to do, but
You said that was a transporter?
yeah, and they usually have a bus that's parked in that lot, that parked driveway. So I don't know if they're trying to get some people or move some people, but they're trying to figure out which way they're going to take them out.
What seems ominous to me is that the white van over there has been parked there for hours, and it seems that might be the one that her husband is in. But if the U.S. Attorney's Office has already said he's not being transferred,
We're waiting for Congressman who's inside, so he's going to ask to speak to him. So then we'll know if he's safe and he's back in the unit or not.
and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but what is to stop them once everybody leaves from basically at 3-4 a.m. trying to transfer him back out?
Oh, there will be folks here overnight. So until the morning, and then we're going to see if visitation is going to continue or not. We were told by many of them inside they were going to strike until Monday, so we're going to wait to see what happens by tomorrow.
And just so people know, organizers, even before tonight, you guys set up 24/7 shifts out here. So there's your tent, your radical hospital. Right. And can you kind of talk about how many people are involved with the whole Eyes on ICE and this whole system you guys have had for a year? Because you guys are here multiple times a week.
Yeah. Well, there's hundreds of volunteers across that have been coming, but you can see these are all advocates. These are individuals in the community who showed up. And they've showed up for the past, this is the third night we're going to. And just to see this tremendous outpouring support is amazing. You can see it right in front of you all, that people are fired up, they're outraged. This is the movement.
I'll let you not lose your voice. So there's another car coming in here. And they're screaming, "Shame on you." And shout out, by the way, new status Coup member. A couple people are signing up. Knight, Virginia signed up. Linda signed up. Mary signed up. Ro, Heather, Mark, and Cecilia. So that's 8 of you who signed up as new status Coup members. We appreciate you. And boy, would I love to see more of you signing up. The more people that sign up as paid members for as low as $5 a month, the more people who help keep us on the ground. It is expensive.
We need to free them all.
Still waiting in the parking lot. We saw what were 2 ICE vehicles enter the facility, and we think maybe that's what they were waiting for. But we also observed them cleaning up inside. But they can't hide hundreds of people, right? Those people have voices. Those people know how to use their voices. They're going to raise their voices and tell the congressman what's going on. Just like they've been telling us the entire time that this facility has been open. We have been hearing the stories about the moldy food, the frozen food. We have been hearing the stories about new medication. No doctor's visits. We have been hearing about the foul air inside.
Just so you know, I just saw 2 police vehicles here. So thus far, police have stayed out of it, but we will see. More police are arriving.
So, like I said, are you guys going anywhere? No! Are you guys going anywhere? No! All right, so like I said, settle in. We're going to be here for a while. We're expecting more legislators to come. But if you've got social media on your phone, take a picture and tag Mikey
Here's fun. So I've seen you out here pretty much every day. Talk to me about kind of the energy here and seeing the solidarity between the hostages, I would call them, and the protests out here, the flickering of lights. What does this mean to you?
It's very heartwarming because the solidarity in there and the solidarity out here is intentional, right? Over there, they do a lot for each other. They take care of each other. We got told that his own people in his unit, they weren't going to let ICE move him, but they were told that he has release papers. They show him release papers, and then when his wife was going to go in to visit him, unfortunately, they moved him out, and they tried to transfer him. That's when this whole thing started, where the community itself defended the family, and they were not allowing for him to be transferred out.
And I don't think it's too strong to say, if not for people coming out here, he could be on a plane out of the country for all we know right now.
Right, exactly. And I mean, this is something that we have been pushing. You know, we want to close down the detention centers. It was never a good idea to reopen it again. And unfortunately, now it's the families who are here from New Jersey that are paying the ultimate price. It's crazy because it's affecting people regardless of whether you're a citizen, regardless if you're a non-citizen. We are all here. We're all being affected, and we do not want this place to continue operating, right? We want Martin to be released, but we want everybody in there to be released because they're going through something that collectively is a punishment, right? Just because they're detained inside doesn't mean that they're not supposed to be engaging with activism, right? That's unconstitutional. They still have the right to free speech. They still have the right to assemble, and just them being detained in a civil institution does not strip them away from those rights, right? So it's very important for us as community members to continue to uplift what they're going inside. And right now, the top demands that they have is that they want to see the governor come in and meet with everybody who's part of the strike, everybody who's doing the labor and the hunger strike. And they're also demanding to let go of the most vulnerable, to free the most vulnerable. They have at least one person who is in solitary confinement that's on a wheelchair. We know of a woman that had a miscarriage inside that was not given the adequate medical attention. And just all these cases that continue to come up to us at the Ice on Ice tent.
What does it say to you? You're starting to see all the advertisements for like America's 250th birthday and rah-rah patriotism. There's going to be a UFC fight on the White House lawn. Your companies have all these advertisements for America's 250th birthday. So all this cheer for America, but America right now is basically abducting not just immigrants. They've put citizens in there too. They killed citizens. Trump is talking about denaturalizing naturalized citizens. He's talking about deporting U.S. citizens who are un-American or Antifa. What does it say to you that like there's this celebration for America right now while this stuff is going on?
At very best, they're super ill-informed, clearly, but this is not new, right? We know that they lie just blatantly. They want people to believe them. At the beginning of last year, when they arrested the mayor, they said that we rushed in, but every camera, every angle showed that they were the ones that came outside and arrested him. So off the bat, for at least 1 year, we know that they're straight up liars, right? Unfortunately, that has developed a little bit more in Minnesota, in California, and everywhere that they have shown up, they have continued to show their true colors, and that is that they lie to the people of the United States, right? Here in New Jersey, we have been against it for many, many years, going back 30 years. In 2021, we passed a state law that prohibited new detention contracts, but it was the federal government that allowed them to continue for a little bit more. And then when they allowed space for the Elizabeth Detention Center to continue, they reopened this one as well. And obviously now we're under this threat that they want to open a third detention center. We definitely don't want it here. As you can see, the people don't want to hear, the elected officials don't want to hear, the Congress people don't want to hear. It's basically federal overreach at this point. They're not respecting any of our wills, and they're harming all of our families.
Can you talk about, so people know, I mean, the conditions inside are really torture. They were fed worms earlier this week. There's black mold inside. Prisoners are kept awake all night. Can you talk about what you've heard from the loved ones of the conditions inside?
Yeah, we have been getting conditions throughout the year about there being cold. That people are sick. They have the common cold. They have phlegm. They have fever. Right now, they're telling us that there's cases of conjunctivitis. I don't even know how to say that word.
Conjunctivitis.
Yes, that. And they also have confirmed cases of COVID. So if we were to judge on how people are constantly getting the common cold, that it never goes away, it just gets transferred from unit to unit, we don't want to see the same thing happen with COVID. And we definitely don't want people who have a medical condition that's great, like people who are supposed to be in the hospital, right? We have communication with somebody that has stopped receiving their HIV medication. That is something like a lifeline at this point, right? We don't want more people to die here. There has already been one death, Gene Wilson Brutus, who has died, and the only explanation that they gave was that he fell from the stairs. Now you tell me, people fall all the time. They don't die. So the fact that they don't shed the light.
He was only in here for 24 hours.
Yes, exactly. During intake. Like, how ridiculous, how negligent do you have to be for a person to die in the first day that they're here? And so for us, it's very basically clear that this is a very dangerous place for all of our residents. We don't want it here. We want to shut down. Yes, we want Martin to walk out free, right? They lied to somebody here. Unfortunately, this woman is also pregnant, right? The trajectory that they have in there of like creating chaos in families all over the state has been seen at least for the past year, right? And this is not just here in Newark. This is going all the way down to Cumberland County, Atlantic County, Morris County, Sussex County. We're seeing ICE come into our communities and just take the stability that people have and the community that people have built throughout the years.
Do you think this is actually gonna stop at immigrants? Because you hear they're trying to buy 800 warehouses to fill more ICE warehouses. I don't think there's enough undocumented immigrants to fill 800 mega warehouses. And Trump has openly talked about, hey, maybe we'll deport U.S. citizens who are un-American. It seems to me like it starts at immigrants and then goes to everyone.
That's exactly what they're trying to build. So these detention centers are multi-million. This one is a $1.2 billion contract for the next 15 years. Nobody's okay with this, right? And all these millions that people are getting paid to run this facility is not enough to serve people edible food. Like, why are they being served the worms, for instance? Why are they not being brought to the hospital whenever they have to get seen, right? What is being allowed here by continuing of funding of ICE is you're continuing to pay to put your own residents in danger, and you're creating a structure where this needs to continue happening every so often. We don't want our tax dollars to go over here. They never asked us anything. And so why do we have to deal with this? We don't want it here. We want people to be let go. Over here, you see some people from the units, either 2A or 2B, that have been in solidarity with us outside, that tell us, hey, we can hear you from the inside. You know, they're very grateful to everybody who's out here. There's at least, I'm telling you, bottom line, there's at least 30 organizations present right now. There's more coming on the way. And we all have that one question of, where is Mikey Sherrill? Right? I don't think she knows she's the governor, because she can mobilize resources. She can mobilize folks to come over here and make sure that people are being seen in timely manner, right? That the people who want to be able to get out of here, either by voluntary departure. People are being held here for months, even after they sign their own voluntary departure. So everything points to the fact that they're being held in there for profit, right? And we're definitely not for that. We want this shut down. We want everybody freed, and we're going to be here until that is uplifted.
What's your name?
Lee.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yep. Absolutely. So, a lot of these organizers that I've been talking to are with Eyes on ICE, and they've been out here long before this tension tonight. They are out here, some of them are out here every day, and they have a solidarity tent. They call it the Radical Hospitality Tent. You can't see, but the rain's coming down a little more now, so the congressman is still inside, Congressman Rob Menendez, so sometimes during the congressional visits, they're in there for several hours, so we will see what happens. They're putting up a poster board there, Free Martin, with pictures of Martin and Gabriella and their family, so we'll show you that. So that's Gabriella. How old is Martin?
31.
So Martin is 31, father of 2, third on the way, because Gabriella right here is expecting. They've been together for over a decade. And Gabriella has told me that he's a wonderful father, a wonderful husband, and he's been in there for 4 months, and he's lost 30 pounds. So you see the hashtag Free Martin there. And I do want to connect this because people might not know this. So somebody I was interviewing before mentioned that sign over there, Energy Transfer. Energy Transfer was the parent company of the Dakota Access Pipeline. You might not know the unfortunate news that the other day, a decade after the historic protests at Standing Rock, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers finally approved the environmental impact study for the Dakota Access Pipeline. The Dakota Access Pipeline has been in operation for the last decade. It's had a lot of leaks, many of which they never reported, which is what the tribe feared, and all the allies that came down there, at one point 15,000 people in North Dakota. But Energy Transfer owned the pipeline. The CEO is one of the biggest donors to Trump. He was the one who said, oh, it's state-of-the-art steel, there will never be a leak, even though there's already been a ton of leaks. And the other day, the Army Corps finally approved the environmental impact statement. So for now, the pipeline is going to stay in operation. The environmental impact statement, by the way, that was supposed to be done and legally is supposed to be done before pipelines like the Dakota Access Pipeline go under the ground. But I just wanted to show you that because it's all connected, folks. Nothing happening anywhere in this country when it comes to capitalism is isolated just to one area. All these companies are wreaking havoc all over the country, including energy partners. And if you haven't noticed, a lot of the organizers I've been interviewing, you hear their voices faint, barely having voice left, coughing. They've been out here for days, and it's been a rainy weekend here in New Jersey. And a lot of them have been out here well before the hunger strike started. At midnight, it will be day 4 of the hunger strike. I should mention there's a hunger strike going on in an ICE prison in California, too. There was a hunger strike that I covered at North Lake Detention Center in Michigan. That's the biggest ICE prison in the Midwest. I don't know if that one's still going on, but it was as of a few weeks ago. There was a hunger strike at an ICE prison in Pennsylvania. So I think that's part of why they were trying to get Martin out of here. They're trying to quash this hunger strike because they do not want prisoners, or hostages, I should say, at other ICE prisons. They don't want them getting inspired. Oh, you see a transport van here. What's that?
That's just a van. That's a bus that came from.
So that's a transport bus. So is that a transport bus that comes and goes?
Yes, it comes and goes. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
It's just arriving to park back.
Gotcha. So that was a transport bus coming in and out. And the other day, I should say, about 13 prisoners were released. Those prisoners were released, I believe that was in motion. It wasn't related to the hunger strike. But oftentimes they release prisoners overnight, and their loved ones aren't alerted to where they're being moved. Hold on.
Libertad, 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 libertad.
Are those some of the prisoners inside?
Yeah.
So those are some of the prisoners inside. Okay. So those are some of the prisoners inside doing a video call.
Libertad, 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 libertad.
Okay, so I just want to finishing up what I was saying. There was a bus that went in. It was empty. But if it's going in, it's going to go out. And so we're afraid that means they're going to try to punish the people that are on a hunger strike, right, by shipping them to somewhere else, right? So that means the reason why they're already not gone, the reason why they stopped the transfer of Martin because they know they have us to support them now. So they're trying to punish them and take them to a place where nobody knows them. And we gotta make sure that doesn't happen. Okay? So no ICE, no KKK.
So I think that's important because in reality, obviously, this is a waiting game. ICE, the ICE prison and the ICE guards are basically just banking on, all right, they're here now, but they'll leave and then we'll take them out. So what they're trying to do is organize shifts so that there are always people out here with the barricades blocking ICE from abducting people and taking them out of here to transport them and move them elsewhere. Let's face it, that's tough, but you know, people power matters. So even if they could get a shift of 20 people, you know, every 5-6 hours, they'd be able to, at least for the time being, stop the transport of Martine and others. That has been attempted at other ICE prisons around the country, you know, but obviously people have lives, jobs, kids, so it's hard to do that indefinitely, but that's what they're trying to do right now to stop Martine from being abducted and moved out of here. So right now, oftentimes when you see just normal cars coming out, it's just workers leaving, guards, shift changes, etc. You've seen protesters here shout at those folks, screaming shame, shame at employees here. So they're making space right now for this car. And right now they're putting cameras on this employee, screaming at him, shame. That's a female, excuse me. And you still see the prisoners, the hostages inside. So imagine the hope and the inspiration they're getting from seeing all of these solidarity protesters out here. So some of the organizers are screaming, let them through, because if they don't let them through, they could be shut down. That's basically how it works here. So if they do not let the staff out, then that could give ICE license to come out here or with the police and get violent with protesters. So that's why you see some of the organizers shouting to let them out, because they want to be able to keep protesting out here. So let me show you some more of this. With liberty and justice for all, you see that sign.
Okay, guys, listen up. Guys, listen up. We want to thank everybody for coming out here, but for people who don't know, tomorrow is a visitation day for families on a holiday. So we are trying to make sure, listen up. Listen, we appreciate everybody coming out, but we want to make sure everybody knows that tomorrow's a visitation day where families are calling off work and listen. I got it, Okay. Kathy. Listen. Okay. Okay, compañera, te voy a dar mi cono, okay?
Kathy. Tell Kathy to be quiet for a second. Asma.
On the megaphone! You want to listen to the people inside?
Okay.
Compañeros no están escuchando. Si quieres
So a little friction between activists happens from time to time. It's all right, but they were just explaining that tomorrow on the holiday is visiting hours for loved ones.
everything that we're doing out here. Sigue, compañero. It's hard to hear. It's like somebody's getting into the unit right now, but they said that they're there to demand their freedom. Sigue, compañero.
Estamos cientos de personas aquí reunidas, también gracias por la ayuda que nos están dando, pedimos libertad para todos.
We are hundreds of people who are demanding our freedom. Libertad, libertad, libertad. Libertad, libertad.
Estamos secuestrados aquí, ilegalmente secuestrados, violándonos todos nuestros derechos sin una orden de arresto. Estamos sufriendo, nuestros hijos están allá afuera sufriendo, estamos sufriendo demasiado, muy maltratados aquí, pegados, nuestros derechos violados. Estamos secuestrados aquí, necesitamos una ayuda urgente, estamos padeciendo de todo. Nos liberen, por favor. Una presión, la gobernadora, nosotros.
They're calling for the governor.
A los inmigrantes, ¿dónde está la gobernadora? Brilla por su ausencia la gobernadora.
Okay.
A ser sus ejemplares, a pagar nuestros impuestos, a no hacer daño. Solo queremos un futuro para nuestros hijos, nuestras familias.
Try not to get the phone. Try not to get the phone. Yeah.
Necesitamos nuestra libertad, aunque sea con un grillete. Va a decir algo.
I believe that's the congressman coming out, Congressman Rob Menendez. So we'll take a look and see what he's learned from inside. What's that? The police are here as well.
Thank you. Okay, if you are not a family member and you are not.
Seems that he's been waiting there to be let inside for at least 45 minutes.
Then I'm going to go over there. If you are not, go over there.
What? Okay, but.
So he hasn't been let in. So I'll get back here. Are they still on the phone?
They're still on the phone. It's just the brother of the guy inside doesn't want his picture to be seen. Yeah.
Can you tell me? I'm sure it was hard to hear, but what were some of the things?
Give this to somebody else.
I'm going to talk to one of the activists who was talking to prisoners inside. So can you tell me some of the things they were saying?
So they're inside and they hear everybody out here and that they're really grateful for everybody coming out here. They feel kidnapped. They feel legally kidnapped. They feel as though that the government was punishing them for following a process that they were told to follow, right? They showed up to their check-ins, they showed up to their court hearings, and then they were passing their credible fear interviews, and then they were kidnapped right after them. So they want to be back with their families. They feel like this is state-sanctioned kidnapping, that there's a lot of energy there, you know, that they were excited, they were chanting libertad, they're chanting freedom, and, you know, I want to emphasize, like, I let them know, we were like, visitation day is tomorrow, you know? People are taking off work in order to visit their family members. So we're also trying to weigh, like, a lot of righteous anger that's here right now. A lot of people are really mad about what's happening. You know, no justice, no peace. And also, what if they cancel visitation tomorrow, right? And I know, like, that responsibility and that accountability and that fault is going to fall on Geo Group and ICE, but we also have to think about the families tomorrow. So we're seeing what happens with Martin, which is Gabby's husband, but we also, you know, are balancing a lot of things right now, and the guys in there, what grounds us in the fact that they can hear us, and I let them know we're trying to do everything we can, and they just, you know, really appreciate what we're doing.
Thank you.
And we have 3 exits that we're monitoring. This is just one.
Yes.
We have another exit over there that we need people for.
Have 3 exits that they can use.
We got another car coming.
So they were coming over here. Essentially, they're trying to avoid visitation being cut off tomorrow, because obviously loved ones are trying to come to visit their loved ones who are inside. At the end of the day, they could, you know, they could let every staffer out of here and they could still cancel visitation because these are evil motherfuckers inside. And I wouldn't put it past them to shut down visitation indefinitely while there's protesters out here. To continue covering ICE terror, we have covered this ICE terror everywhere.
He's no longer handcuffed. Rob Menendez is not leaving. He said on record he's not leaving today, tonight, tomorrow until he sees my husband. Ya lo han movido a mi esposo de la van adentro de la facilidad. Ya está adentro, ya no está arrestado, ya no está esposado en el van, ya está adentro, no se sabe dónde porque no lo están dejando entrar. Pero Rob Menendez dijo en la grabación que se estaba haciendo que no va a salir de aquí hoy día, mañana, por la noche, cuando sea, hasta que me lo dejen ver a mi esposo. I vote for Rob Menendez.
Well, after he gets right on certain things. Free Palestine first.
And I approve this message.
So she just updated that they've taken her husband out of the van. He's back in the prison. Oh, wow. When immigrants' rights are under attack? How the hell did they do that? Can you show that, John? So if you could see there's a giant projector that says, when immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. Are you able to see that whole thing? So I don't know where that projector is coming from, but kudos. Oh, it must be from over there, yeah. So they have it over the prison, and it says, when immigrants' rights are under attack, stand up, fight back. Right over some of the windows that we previously saw the hostages banging on the window, flickering the lights. Colin, if you're watching this, if we could cut this for social, that would be good too. for those of you watching, we got Colin, Jenny, Michelle behind the scenes helping us cut these moments, these powerful moments, and get them out on social media. So they're talking about right now the sign on the building. And it's
What do we do? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? Look at the sign!
So if you see right there, the projector says, when immigrants' rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. And you see right in the middle, scrolling images of immigrants right over the window. And it's incredibly powerful because as the projector is over that, fight back, you see some of the prisoners, what I would call hostages, their hand up at the window. So the symbolism is just, I'll let the images speak volumes. But that is right over the prison, massive projector with images of immigrants and saying, stand up, fight back. How are we on battery? And if you come into this a little bit late, Congressman Menendez has been over that fence waiting to be let in. I believe for at least an hour. He has still not been allowed in to speak with Martine. He said he's not leaving until he does, so credit to him. They have taken Martine out of the white van that they were trying to abduct him in. So he seems to be back inside the prison. Protesters are still out here, including his wife. We've been out here live, I believe, for going on 2.5. A rainy night in New Jersey. Memorial Day weekend. We're out here with the people, where we always are. So please smash the like button. Please share this live stream. Super chats are very, very much appreciated. Even more appreciated, sign up as a Status Coup member, folks. CNN ain't here and they ain't coming. MS Now is not here and they ain't coming. Fox News is certainly not coming. ABC, CBS, NBC, National, not here. Seen a couple local outlets. They were here for a short while. They're gone. Usually how it goes, folks. The local media parachutes in and out for their 5-second shot, maybe a soundbite, and they get out of here. They check the box and they go home. We are the Justice Journalists. We open and we close. That's how we roll. And sadly, we make a lot less than they do for doing a whole lot more. So if you can. Sure. Yeah, awesome. So there'll be some family members who come over. So we spoke with some of them yesterday. So it'd be great to speak with family members now. And one thing that one thing that people don't realize. Okay. Who am I talking to? Oh, great.
They're just gonna use the mask for like security.
That's fine.
You know?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. ¿Vas a hablar en español o en inglés? Okay. ¿Tú vas a hablar en español? Yeah. Is it okay if she turns around or if she?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So, tell me, how long has your loved one been inside, and what are they telling you about the conditions inside?
¿Por cuánto tiempo lleva su familiar aquí y qué te cuenta de las condiciones que están acá adentro?
Él es mi pareja, lleva al cumplir 3 meses. De la condición de salud, no les dan sus medicamentos. Él tiene una condición médica deshabilitada al 100%. ICE lo conoce, pero totalmente ha ignorado esa situación. Y sobre todo el agua, que es muy caliente, a veces la comida no está en mejor condición. Me ha podido decir eso él. Y hemos venido el día de hoy a esta marcha para alzar nuestra voz, que permitan y les den la oportunidad como les han dado a los demás. En este caso hablo por mi pareja, que a él lo procesaron muy rápido sin darle la oportunidad a una apelación. No han tomado en cuenta su estado de salud, que él necesita sus terapias. Igualmente no puede subir a la segunda parte de la camilla por su condición médica de su pierna.
As best you can, to translate?
Yeah. So I'll say it directly and I'll do my best to cover. She said, my husband has been here for 3 years. I'm sorry, not 3 years. My husband has been here for 3 months. He is not given the proper medication that he needs. ICE is well aware of his condition and it does not give him the proper medication. The water is completely hot when they go to shower. His court dates they move quickly, and we just want the opportunity for him to be able to fight his case on the outside.
And can you talk about also, we've been told the food is horrible, it's cold inside, and people are sick, often sick.
Está bien frío ahí adentro y que las personas como muchos están enfermos.
Tiene mucho frío y mucho calor. El frío, por su condición de su pierna, está teniendo complicaciones, dolor. Justamente eso me comentaba esta semana. Ellos para tener su medicamento tienen que esperar 2 semanas.
So something I missed, her husband also has a medical condition on his leg that makes it really difficult for him to even get up onto his bed, and her husband feels very cold and very hot because of the conditions on his legs, and he's not receiving the proper medication.
And can you tell me also, for you, how has it been on the outside? We know so many people, you have to care for children, still work, the bills while loved ones are inside. What's been the toll on you?
¿Cómo ha sido para ti aquí afuera con sus hijos, con los biles, ese carga que tienes ese peso ya?
Bueno, desde el día 1, yo lo llamo así, ha sido una situación muy difícil porque él ha sido la cabeza de hogar. Lamentablemente nos ha tocado vivir esta experiencia. En este momento tengo 2 hijos que están bajo mi responsabilidad. Me ha tocado poner al frente como cabeza de hogar y a su vez apoyarle a él, porque no es fácil para los que estamos afuera ni para los que estamos dentro con esta lucha.
You know, my husband is the head of the house and I have 2 young kids, so I converted into the head of the house, and I want to emphasize that it's not easy, you know, for the people inside and the people out here that together are fighting.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And tell me how long your loved one has been inside, and what are they telling you about the conditions inside?
Well, it's my dad. He's really old. He's in his 70s. He has been here for 3 weeks already.
3 weeks?
Yes. I submitted habeas corpus for him for his case, and his habeas corpus has been approved. He should be released on Tuesday, but he's still inside.
Why has he not been released? What have he been told if his habeas corpus was approved?
I talked to his lawyer, and she said she had to send a letter asking why he has been released still. So I'm waiting for the response on Wednesday.
And at 70 years old, what explanation did they give for why they took him in here in the first place?
When he was detained, he was doing his biometric fingerprints. When they took him, my friend was with him when he was getting detained. But like when they were trying to take him, my friend was asking him if he was getting detained. They keep saying, no, we're just gonna take him to a room. And then after that, she left. And because she thought they were just gonna take him to a room, but then she went inside and found out ICE took him with no explanation.
How is he holding up inside? Obviously, if he's 70, he might have medical conditions. Is he getting his medicine if he needs? How is he holding up inside? Because we've also been told a lot of people are sick.
I'd be asking him how he's doing, and he said he was doing good, but like things he can't speak about because he's scared about speaking out. I'm scared because he's old and I heard all this sickness inside. So I just want him to get free outside.
And before he was taken, was he retired? Was he still working? Tell me a little bit about your father.
He was still working. He was the head of the house. I'm a single mom, and he was helping me out with my children.
So you're a single mother. Your mother was helping with your kids. So this is tearing apart your life, really, right?
And my kids are like getting the impact too because they're always asking me about him, when he's coming home. And I don't know how to explain that.
How are you holding up? Because you still have to work, still have to be a mother to your kids. Meanwhile, you're probably terrified for your own father.
I was happy because on Tuesday he was getting released and it was my graduation. I was graduating from my university, so I was really happy he was gonna come out. And then I found out he didn't. But like life has been hard because my mom is with me, but she's kind of old and she's sick too. So I be the one that has to do everything because sometimes my mom can't help me out because her back is hurting and all of that. So it's been hard moments because I had to be the head of the house at home, but I have to come here to find out what is going to happen with my dad, coming to visit him, asking him how he's doing. So it has been hard for me. It has been impacting me like hard because I'm just like, my dad hasn't done nothing. He's an old man. So what he's doing to the society? Nothing.
And what does it say to you that the president of this country has said that the quote-unquote worst of the worst are who's in here, and they're getting rid of only violent people and criminals, when, I mean, it's people like your dad who are basically old grandpas with no criminal record that are being kept in there. How does it make you feel that the president and his supporters are claiming that your dad, so to speak, is the worst of the worst?
I think he's wrong on that because the people who are inside are no criminals. They are just hardworking people who are like working every day for their family. I think the criminals that he has to get there as the street free, like killing people, stealing people, he has to get those people, not these people who are in here, because they are just working for their family to have a better life. And the only thing it makes us criminals is because we came illegal to this country. That's all.
And America, you always hear America is the land of the free and opportunity. Did you ever think you'd see something like this in America?
No, never. But now, the president just want to do whatever he wants, and just don't have people don't have the freedom to speak about nothing.
I'm sorry for what you're going through, but thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
It's just horrible. I don't know if you could tell because she was wearing a mask. A lot of these loved ones are wearing masks because they're afraid that if they speak to the media that their loved one is going to be retaliated against, which is exactly what happened tonight. The reason that they tried to abduct Martine and essentially re-kidnap him is because she kept speaking out to the media. So that's why they're wearing masks. I don't know if you could tell through the mask, but she was crying. That's why I was kind of listening very closely, because it was a little hard to hear through the mask. But single mother, 2 kids. Her mother can't really help out because of her back issues, and she's now having to be the head of the household. I mean, this is what we're talking about here. Not like criminals, not the worst of the worst. They're rounding up grandpas. I can't confirm, but I've heard as young as 18-year-olds are in that prison. Pregnant women are miscarrying in that prison. That's who they've kidnapped, not criminals. You want to round up some criminals? Start with Stephen Miller. Put him in there. You could throw Kristi Noem, take her off her horse, put her in there. Pam Bondi. The Trump kids who are looting the goddamn treasury. Looting the treasury. As Trump's net worth has gone up to $6.5 billion. This is what they're doing. It's just absolutely disgusting. Let's show you a little bit more before we wrap up. We're not going to stay live all night because we're probably going to have to come back for the next few days. So, but people are still out here. They still have not seen the congressman from everything you know? Yeah. Yeah. So it does look like the congressman is still there. Let me try to talk to Gabriella one more time. Hey, Gabriella, have you been able to speak with your husband since he was moved back in there? No? What does it say to you that all these people and you were basically able to stop him from being re-abducted? Do you feel that there's power in the people?
Yes, I feel like everyone is behind me with this movement to close down detention facilities, and we need more people out here to be behind me, because I'm not going to stop with just my husband. My next demand is for Ariadna Zumba to be released. She is a high school senior, and she should be in high school right now, not in a detention center. She has been there detained for over a month and a half.
What's her name?
Ariadna Zumba. She should not be in a detention center half her senior year. So if I release my husband today or tomorrow or whenever Congressman Menendez comes out, then I'm going to demand for Ariadna Zumba to get released. And I'm going to continue with every single detainee in here. But that's why I need the support of every single person out here to prevent any vans getting deported. But I do feel the power, and I feel that everybody is behind me on this.
I'd like to ask you, I don't know if you've noticed, but the media, companies are already starting to do like celebrations for America's 250th birthday coming up in July. Trump's having a UFC fight on the White House lawn. There's all these advertisements for it, like America 250. What does it say to you that like people are celebrating this country at the same time they're kidnapping people and trying to re-abduct them? Is this what America is supposed to be?
1 second.
Go ahead. Is that, I think that's the congressman there. So he might be telling her something. So it seems to me they still have not allowed the congressman in. So I'm not the person who really has such deference for politicians, but it should say something that they're keeping a congressman outside for over an hour. So that's what's going on here. And part of that, outside of just them not caring, is when congressmen come unexpectedly, they want to clean up inside. So that's what they did the other day when these congresspeople came. There was a mad dash inside by guards to clean up, to basically, cover up how bad the conditions are, because that's the point of unannounced inspections. So that could be some of why they're taking so long, because who knows? We don't even know what's going on inside. They could be trying to suppress a revolt of prisoners. We have no idea. but that projector is still up. And as we've seen, prisoners here and there are still popping up to the window. Smash the like button, share this live stream. Super chats are appreciated, and please, if you can, please sign up. Statuscoup.com/join. We've been out here for hours. We're, as far as I can tell, the only national outlet out here, the only big independent outlet out here. Newark, New Jersey ain't far from New York City, and New York City is the capital of the media. It's the capital of number one media market in America. So this place should be flooded with media. Shamefully, it's not. Shamefully, it's not.
I think they're all sitting in the car waiting for something to happen. Then they'll come out.
Which happens a lot.
They're sitting in the cars.
That's true. So we see some news vans where the anchors or reporters are literally sitting because they'd rather sit on their ass than actually be out here and talk to people. That's the state of media in America. So hopefully we'll get to finish talking to Gabriella. I kind of want to stay up, drink whiskey, and watch Shawshank Redemption tonight.
You want me to come over?
Please tell me you've seen Shawshank Redemption.
Of course I have, yeah.
Good.
Not while drinking whiskey, though.
Oh, it's a whole different experience. So, should also point out that a lot of trucks have passed here honking in solidarity. So we've seen that at ICE protests all around the country, cars passing by honking, truckers. So here, a lot of trucks pass by honking. The crowd's dwindled a little bit, which is expected as the night gets longer. It gets a little colder. But overall, there's still a good crowd out here. And we're waiting to hear what happens. And the organizers are setting up shifts at all three exits and entrances so that they don't try a bait and switch, and once the protesters leave, take Martine out in the middle of the night, which they routinely do with prisoners, excuse me. Hostages, you're right. I gotta stop saying prisoners, hostages. And if you can, if you're on the Twitter machine still, or whatever they're calling it these days, please retweet our clips from this protest. We've cut up a couple of the moments from this live stream on our Twitter. We've also posted them on Blue Sky. If you're on Blue Sky, we're going to be posting stuff on our Instagram. So definitely follow us on all our social media platforms. Subscribe for our Substack, which you could do for free. That's statuscoupsubstack.com. And please, if you can, support us here as a paying member, statuscoup.com/join for as low as $5 a month. You want to come on and say hello?
Yeah, sure, why not?
So this is Wally Khan, celebrity journalist, roams around America. You've been at ICE in Chicago, Minneapolis, LA, Ohio, New York, and now Jersey. You're a visual guy. Tell me what goes through your head seeing this projector, seeing the hostages banging on the window.
I think this is a very unique facility. It's the first time I've seen detainees, visible from their cells. And I think that's helpful because a lot of people get kidnapped and you don't hear from them, you don't see them. And when they come out, there's a reunification story, but you never see them when they're incarcerated. So, seeing this, it fills me with anger. It was the same feeling I had when I was in Minneapolis and saw dozens of people get kidnapped. It's the same sort of thing. Just because they're not kidnapping people out of suburban homes in front of everyone, and, making a show about it. This is like a aching reminder of what's going on in our country.
What's incredible to me, I don't know, I think it's kind of a huge story when nearly 1,000 people are on a hunger and labor strike. Like, national media is not here, local media is here for like a couple minutes, and then they leave. John was pointing out there's some news trucks, they're sitting in it. Where's the media when you have a massive fucking hunger strike and they're trying to... They lied to this prisoner that he was getting released to try and transfer him. Shouldn't this be a bigger thing, or am I asking too much?
No, I remember even in Minneapolis, y'all were early to it. I remember booking the flight to Minneapolis before Renee Good was killed. Because I think mainstream media typically cares a lot more when an American citizen gets killed. And I remember Chicago specifically, until ICE agents started marching in front of Trump Tower, were people able to justify the flight in to sell a few stories to the Atlantic or the New Yorker. And by then it was too late already. I mean, it must have been 2 weeks after when it really mattered. I mean, I look at this and it's, I probably won't be able to sell these photos until, ICE starts tear gassing people, and then mainstream media says, oh, wow, tear gas, we have to sell this story. But in reality, a lot of these stories, you don't understand what it is unless you've been there from the beginning.
Right. So basically, human suffering, powerful moments like banging on the window, no dice.
Not enough.
Gas, bullets, we'll pay you a couple bucks.
Because, if a journalist can't get shot a couple of times, he's not going to win any awards. So, this is a lot of pain, just waiting out here. I mean, even in Chicago, when I was at Broadview, there were nights where I would sleep at the facility, outside it. And it's important, once everybody goes. I remember in Chicago specifically, they started grabbing people in the middle of the night right outside the facility. So it's important. I mean...
And I was asking people this, but I don't know. It just seems like quite the contrast. I don't know if you're starting to see the previews and the advertisements for America 250 and, UFC fight on the White House lawn, and Trump's going to do a big parade and all this. So what does it say? That, the capitalist class and corporate America and the media are already rolling out the red carpet for the big, what do they call that, bicentennial? Or whatever, 250. But meanwhile, they're kidnapping people. I don't think this is going to stop at immigrants. You got 800 warehouses they're trying to purchase. There's not enough undocumented immigrants to fill that many warehouses. It just seems like there's a tale of two countries in terms of celebration versus hostage taking.
Well, it seems like the story of one country. I mean, they're celebrating this. I mean, I look at this, and I remember the ads for it started way before. I mean, we were talking D.C. military parade right after the L.A. incursion. They were, people selling hats for Trump 2028. I mean, they're just telling on themselves. I mean, even just 2 days ago when they announced that green cards had to be applied from outside of the U.S., which essentially, is a form of deportation through, change of status. I haven't met a single normal person at a protest whose life hasn't been benefited by an immigrant. And so when I look at something like that and the celebrations...
Trump too.
Yeah, Trump himself too.
His wife. Well, even though they don't, sleep together or live together.
Yeah, that was not in the movie. You did not see them sleep in the same bed. I actually watched that movie in Ohio where people have been building their basements out to hide immigrants, typically Haitians who are in the daycare, business. So, yeah, I mean, it's surreal being here.
Where could people find your photos, your journalism, promote your stuff?
You can find me on Instagram at Wally, WALI_talks, TALKS, and you can find some of my work on Status Coup.
So you've done some work at Status Coup. You've done stuff for Vice, the Washington Post.
Democracy Now! Recently. I covered the Myrtle Wyckoff Hospital ICE incident where people, were trying to block an ICE vehicle from leaving the hospital because, they tased an immigrant, Okeke was his name, too hard, and they had to take him to the hospital. And at the end of it, they threw him on the ground, had their batons out, pepper sprayed a bunch of protesters. This is becoming a daily part of life.
What's it like being, a lowly little independent journalist as everybody, their mother and their dog, has a YouTube channel, Substack, TikTok. Everybody's an influencer, and it seems what the algorithms like is hot takes, shock, reactionary bullshit, while actual living, breathing journalism you're doing is harder to break through. Little frustrating?
I've been lucky enough to break through a little bit when it comes to very dire situations. But a lot of mainstream media, they ignore it until it gets really, really bad. And then they want to write the piece about Minneapolis or the piece about New Jersey or New York. But yeah, no, absolutely. I think, especially the stuff that I've published with Status Coup, it was always before it got really, really bad. And
we were actually out in Minneapolis before Renee Good was assassinated. John behind the camera, a lot of people don't know he should have won multiple awards, but that would mean that life makes sense in America. He was the first one live on January 6th. I don't know if you know that. We were the first ones live on January 6th. YouTube took our stream down. The fucking platform we're on right now took our stream down. If they would have kept our stream up, I mean, at this point, we would have been able to hire an army because that live stream would have made 500 million views. Long story, they took our stream down. Apparently, YouTube at the time could not distinguish between journalists covering an event and insurrectionists. But that's a different story. Last question for you. Do you think part of what they're doing in trying to basically get rid of one of the organizers of the strike is to try and put down the strike so this doesn't spread, this kind of revolt inside here doesn't spread to other ICE prisons?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there have already been spread. In California, there was a facility where there was a hunger strike, still ongoing, I believe. And, you've seen the history when they try to enact violence upon people who start hunger strikes, namely Bobby Sands with the IRA. He was viciously beaten and he starved to death. They wouldn't give him anything. And so this is historically, a tried and true method of trying to stamp down a hunger strike. And this sort of thing, they're scared of it. They're scared of people understanding how bad it is on the inside. It's the same story when ProPublica did a story on Dilley Detention Center and had drawings by the kids who were in there. And then after that story, they started restricting their visiting hours. So they're scared of it because they don't want people to know what they've done. And this is really obvious from the reporting I've did. This is not my opinion. This they're not proud of. But, throwing the tear gas canisters they are because it's superhuman.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Swali Khan. Check him out on Instagram, all that. I want to talk to Gabriella one more time before we wrap. So you see people hopping up and down right now. A lot of chants are in Spanish, obviously, because a lot of the hostages only speak Spanish. You see them opening the gate again for staff coming out.
Also, let me know if you need a thumbnail for later.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Send that to me. Yeah. So that projector's still up. What did the congressman give you an update? Yeah. One more reminder, folks. We are only able to be out here covering what the corporate media covers up because of you. We do not take money from Geo Group, Goldman Sachs, United Healthcare, whichever living Koch brother remains. We do not take money from the oligarchs buying off the Democratic and the Republican Party. We do not take money from Pfizer. We do not take money from Palantir. We do not take money from the corporate vampires destroying this country, your present and futures. Our funding comes from you, the proletariat, which makes it a lot fucking harder to operate because everyone's broke, which we understand. So I hope you don't mind when we're asking you for support. It's because we have to. If we don't ask you, we can't keep the lights on. It would be much easier to sell out, get a corporation to fund us. I get emails every single day. Every single day I get emails from interested family offices, interested small businesses, interested corporate sponsors, interested in purchasing us. I do not answer almost all of them. The ones I do answer are actually from people that are aligned with our values, but then want to meddle, and I say no. So it would have been a lot easier to sell out, folks, and we've had opportunities. I'll write a book one day or do a documentary. A couple years ago, I got offered $500,000 by a pretty big donor to the Democratic Party. I thought about it, and then I told him kindly no, because I knew we would not be able to remain independent and have full autonomy. So we've had the ability to take shortcuts, and we have not. So I ask you, if you can, please sign up. As a member, you also get perks, including monthly members calls we do with our members, merchandise discounts, behind-the-scenes videos for members, all that good stuff. So statuscoup.com/join. You can sign up for as low as $5 a month. If you're already a member, we love you. You could donate if you got a couple extra bucks, statuscoup.com/donate. Help me pay John more. Help me pay for more producers, more editors. We definitely need more reporters, equipment upgrades, all that good stuff. And we're trying to hire a full-time social media person. We've never had a social media person full-time because we need to turn a lot of this longer-form live streams, long-form videos, 3-hour live streams into shorter clips to kind of meet the current short-form social media moment. All right. See if I can get an update. When do you sleep?
I already have a 1-year-old.
A 1-year-old and a 3.5-year-old, yeah. And the 1-year-old's 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m.
Hours what? But she still is. Like, she's 3.5 now, and she still doesn't sleep through the night.
It's a fucking nightmare.
It is so hard.
So now the 1-year-old is up at like 2, 3, and my 3.5-year-old screaming at 6.
6, yes. That's yeah. Ours wake up at 1.
And this asshole's asking me to come out to New York City at 8 o'clock at night. That's all right. I don't care. Yeah, you just got an open mic in my life. I haven't slept in a year. You know, you expect when you have a newborn, all right, the first few months you won't sleep, but we're going on a year.
I'm always like, I see these families where they have babies sleeping through the night. I'm like,
It's just awful.
sleep training. She's just like, no.
No. Oh yeah. But could be worse. Any update? The congressman still hasn't been seen?
No, he came to the game.
Okay.
No, he came that time. You got to see him that time. So we just.
But they still haven't let him in?
No, but we do know Martin is inside. He's sitting in the cafeteria, and I'm presumably probably waiting for him. You know, they're probably trying to clean up and like.
So apparently they've kept the congressman out for over an hour so they could clean up because it's a fucking torturous mess in there. And Martin, who they tried to illegally re-abduct, lying to him that he was released, having him sign, who the hell knows what they had him sign. Apparently he's back inside there in the cafeteria. We presume is going to be able to speak with the congressman. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's what's going on. And that's what happens when these congresspeople show up. It's unexpected. So they're basically left to wait outside because they have to clean up inside, probably do something with, do something in terms of trying to make the cells look presentable. Probably do something because there's mold in places. So obviously it ain't ready-made for when Congress people come to just let them in right away, which shows you they're obviously covering up the horrific conditions. All right. So people are singing in Spanish. I was looking for Gabriella before we left. It's just, okay. Is that the guy who's always arrested in New York? Oh. So the guy in the yellow is pretty much at every protest that ever happens in New York City. And I think he's been arrested probably hundreds of times. He's a hero. So they're chanting, "Free the prisoners, free them all." Do you want to talk? What's your name?
Asma El-Huni. I'm a director of Organizing for Resistencia and Action. And yeah.
I've seen you kind of on the drums, on the mic, this and that. Talk about kind of this emotional feeling, seeing the hostages, I would call them, banging on the window, flickering the lights. They're obviously grateful that you all are out here.
Yes, they're grateful. I think they know we're trying to just lift up their cause, their demands, and it's amazing that they are actually hearing us, because oftentimes they can't hear us. So they made it clear that they can hear us inside, and so that makes us feel absolutely wonderful. We were super excited to see that they were able to hear us. We got to talk to somebody who was freed the day before yesterday here. And he was talking about how the people inside said, hey, make sure you tell them about the conditions inside. And he was telling me that basically their food has worms in it, and that when they shower, there was only 10 people are allowed in the shower area at a time, and that they have to buy their own soap, and that the air is like, it's warm with dust in it, and people are getting sick inside. And so...
I'm told there's black mold inside.
Yeah, yep. And so, yeah, basically he said people are organizing. And I asked him, well, what about the people that don't have money to buy soap? And he said, in there, nobody's from any particular country. Nobody's color, skin matters. Everybody's helping each other. So they know that it's totally unfair for them to be back there. And they literally said, we keep telling the guards, what did we do? Tell us, what did we do to be in this place? What did we do? What kind of harm did we cause to your country? We're here just supporting our families. And so, yeah.
What do the guards say? Anything?
It's really a shame. If you could take a look, most of the guards are people of color. That is so, like, it's a dichotomy because this administration is not in favor of their lives, and yet they're participating in a system that's harming people like themselves. And so I told people, in particular some African Americans, that their ancestors have fought for their freedom. And it is the reason why they're free today, or at least partly free. And they're turning in their graves knowing that they fought for their freedom only for them to put others in cages. So, yeah, it's a real shame. And literally, it's a money-making machine. That's what this is about at the end of the day. People are profiting off of our bodies, and that's why we're here to say, no, we're not going to accept it. It's got to stop. And this is not a partisan issue. Like, it's not a Republican or a Democrat. It is an issue of this country. We got to fix it. So the Democrats are also, to be honest, complicit. I'm just going to
And the governor could be here in 20 minutes. She's got her own plane.
That's right. She could be here, but she's not. She put out a letter, and a letter is not enough. People are asking her to come, to talk to them. They're on a hunger strike. Why isn't she here? Why isn't she talking to them personally? Why isn't she looking at the conditions herself versus, oh, I'm sorry about what's happening from far away? That's unacceptable. That's not a leader.
And, you know, I think obviously the whole country's attention was on ICE, this ICE terror in Minneapolis and Chicago, and then Trump launches an illegal war and everyone's attention turns there. So I think people might have wrongly thought, oh, things have calmed down with ICE. People are still being abducted by ICE.
People are being abducted. What we're finding now is ICE is finding it very convenient to abduct people who are arrested. And so, for example, we have 2 cases in Mercer County where we serve, where a woman calls us and tells us her husband was picked up by ICE. How? He was sticking up for her. She was being assaulted by another man. Her husband beat up the other guy. He got arrested, and then he was freed. And while he walked out of the jail, ICE was there. And so that could be me or you defending ourselves, right? But just because they were undocumented, they requested the police department to hold them, and then they handed them over. So that's something else. When we say we're not complicit, or, you know, our police officers aren't collaborating, I don't know what this is called. This is called collaborating. I don't know what else is. And so just raising our attention to detainers. Sometimes they're called holds, and that they're unconstitutional. They rob due process of immigrants, and so we need that to stop. And so that's one of the ways that people are, thank you so much, that's one of the ways that people are being funneled into the deportation system.
I also think people should point out some of these hostages, like $50,000 bonds. I've heard $100,000. Who the hell could, their families can't afford.
Absolutely. They're already working 2-3 jobs. So we're talking about people who love their community. We're talking about people who are hard workers, who love their family members. And now all of a sudden, the breadwinner is now unable to provide for the family. So what does that do? It doesn't just impact that family, it impacts the community around them, because now we have to figure out, well, what are we going to do with this child who's now struggling in school because their father is no longer around, or their mother is no longer around, and their mental health is struggling. They can't get their schoolwork done. What are we going to do with a family who could no longer pay their rent when they were doing just fine, even though they're working 2-3 jobs, like I said, but now they can't even get by. They can't even stay in the home that they were staying in. So we're trying to get together and say, all right, we have to raise money. So it impacts literally the whole community when somebody gets abducted. And I like the term you use, hostages. They are hostages, right?
And lastly, I have to bring it up because you mentioned Palestine before. You're wearing the keffiyeh. It all seems connected in a way, doesn't it?
Absolutely very connected. In fact, ICE has a contract with Israeli companies, surveillance companies. They are using Palestinians as testing people to literally carry out their things here. And so now we have contracts with Israeli surveillance companies that ICE is using to pick up our community members. And so, and I want us to pay attention to the fact that it's not just immigrants that are being targeted. Those flock cameras that we see, every single one of us is being impacted because our licenses, and remember, they don't even have a warrant to get our license and get our information. And yet we have these flock cameras everywhere. The police department doesn't seem to think it's a problem, and yet this information is being shared, and ICE is getting a hold of it and then picking people up.
What's your name?
Asma Al-Yuni, I'm an organizer with Resistencia en Acción.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Absolutely. It's one dystopian hell, isn't it? All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up. We probably going to be live here. Who knows? I don't know how long this is going to go. It could be tomorrow. It could be Tuesday. So we got to kind of pace ourselves. We'll update you as best we can tomorrow. But for now, these folks out here have stopped Martin from being abducted again. And his wife, Gabriella, has been out here for pretty much all day leading the charge. So it does show you that people power does matter. I know it kind of feels hopeless in this country. During the Trump regime, it probably felt helpless before that. We're living in a giant capitalist vulture capitalist meets surveillance state meets imperial Death Star. And it can feel hopeless sometimes, but sometimes, like tonight, you see people able to protect people from the worst of this country. So I'm happy we could show this to you. Thank you so much to everybody who's watched. Please, if you can, I know I sound like a broken record, but if you can, it's okay. But if you can, please support us. Statuscoup.com/join. You could support us for as low as 16 cents a day. What is 16 cents a day to you? That's $5 a month. Please, if you can, statuscoup.com/join. Thanks, John, behind the camera. Jenny, Colin, Michelle, who have been helping us cut clips and get this stuff out there. We will be back out here as soon as we can. Have a good night.